Why, hello there, friends. It is I, host Eric, with my beloved Rachel Lapalosa beside me, as always, bringing to thee, the people, the truths of the world which long you have needed to hear. Thus we have arrived. Our stream is live. Our means are filled with hives of bees, and everybody knows that a wonderful time awaits.
It's true.
Today I've got a fun contest idea. It's called the Short Complete Story Contest. And in order to give you an example of said contest, I want specifically to point out that a specific example. Ernest Hemingway was at one point challenged to come up with a story that was 10 words or less, complete story. And the complete story that he produced, Hemingway's offering here, is For Sale, Baby Shoes.
Me.
Baby Shoes Never Worn. What?
I did that.
Rachel,
Sorry.
you're in big trouble now.
Sorry, host Eric.
That was Hemingway's example of a short story that told a lot of information in a very little bit of words. It's rather a depressing short story, you might say. If you're into sadness, if you're into sorrow, if you're into dead babies, you're going to love that short story by Hemingway. Only 6 words. Well, I thought it would be fun to see what kind of short stories people could come up with with the limit of 1 chat's worth of words. Now, I'm not exactly sure how many words it's 200 characters, I think. Yeah, it's 200 characters. I'm not plagiarizing Hemingway. I'm saying that's an example that made me want to do this contest. I'm not claiming to have written that one. I'm saying Hemingway wrote that, and let's play that game. Okay, so for example, a great short story that fits in 200 characters. I saw Judy. She wanted it so bad. So I was like, what's up? And Judy's like, my metaphorical backpack just got double filled such that overfloweth with that which formerly I did actively seek. There's a short story that tells you a lot in one, and as many tries as you want. You pick whatever one you think your best one is, or, it's like, I'll pick the best one overall, and I won't include my own. Independent of the person, the life tree never stops its filtration of never guilty men. It takes those who want to those who are in need, giving back itself to those who want to be barren in fruits. Did you write that? Audrina Media? I like it. That's a good one. I used to be an adventurer like you. Then I took an arrow in the knee. That's a good one. Baby Shoes Never Worn. That's Hemingway's entry to the contest, but we're not going to let him win the contest. He was challenged at some point to write a short story in 10 words or less, I think it was, and that's what he came up with. I'm saying write a short story in 200 characters or less. It has to be complete. Once upon a time, there was a person who thought that once upon a time, about a time. Once upon a time, there was a person who thought that once upon a time, a story about a time that was upon once a time that was once upon, insofar as upon a time there was. I'm not sure what happened in that story, Skygear. That seems more like a convoluted sentence than a story per se. How about let's see. Okay, let's see. The most convoluted grammatically correct sentence. Okay. That's an interesting challenge. I like that one. Whenever one inclines towards that which elicits strong response. Start with an adverb clause, of course, you know. Whenever one inclines towards that which elicits strong response, one's relationship with one embraces an antecedent removed from one's own. Whenever one inclines towards that which elicits strong response, one embraces an antecedent removed from one's own consequential desire. Comma, thus rendering one's efforts counterproductive. That's a pretty good sentence. Whenever one inclines towards that which elicits strong response, one embraces an antecedent removed from one's own consequential desire, thus rendering one's efforts counterproductive. It says something, you know. It really does. Wait, these aren't just stories. You're all just flexing your TI articulation. This is more NI kind of a thing. You wanted to see that debate? What debate? The debate between what? The debate between poop and pee, which is grosser? The answer is obvious. It's poop. So the other possible topic that I was going to put here, we can talk about while people enter their story contest, if you'd like, is this issue of, I'll write it here in the chat. It's self-report versus affect versus type. So I had two bags of poo. I had two typings back to back. The first one was an ISFP. The second one was an INFJ. And the ISFP in particular, I think it's fair to say, did a stunningly poor job of accurate self-reporting. Which is to say that when I asked him, when I said, "Hey there, buddy, answer me this. Would you rather or would you be better at which of these jobs? Being given a bunch of clues and determining the correct meow meow at the end, or talking your way out of a bind on your feet?" And he said the latter, but when I tested it at all, it was obviously the former. What's the takeaway here? The takeaway here is that people's self-reporting is not reliable. It's also the case that this INFJ's affect that I just typed, he seemed, quote unquote, like an INFP. Where's my Mia though? Like, where's the... Okay. So, a real masterpiece of a story goes like this. When the bears attacked, we all fled. Now, we've returned. And every home features a warm bear rug.
Wow.
There. That tells you. The last time she spoke, she couldn't withhold the desire to cry. It just seems like such a beginning of a story, you know?
Yeah.
It doesn't seem like a meow story, a full story. The Vampire Queen kicked a trash can, exploding dragon sea turtles where his ex-wife tried to lick a limerick stump flying 20 meters into a state of petunia consciousness.
Whoa.
That's not a story. That's just random words. Goodness gracious, I tell ya. Sometimes these people, I tell ya, they're like rain on a sunny day. Like getting a free ride when you've already paid. They're like good advice, but you don't want to take it. And who would have thought it figured? I would have thought it figured. I would have, but... Oh, come on, Eric. What you wrote was a bunch of fancy words that mean a whole lot of nothing. What? Not the most recent thing. The most recent thing I said means something. When the bears attacked, we all fled. Now we've returned, and every home features a warm bear rug. That tells you something, huh? Tells you a lot by saying a little, and that says nothing while concurrently telling you everything you need to know. I think we can all agree on that. I'm in autonomy right now. If you'd like to join me, have any comments you'd like to have audibleized on the Audible channel here, then you can do that. You are welcome. You are encouraged. I welcome you to join me on this Christmas day for a celebration of the sorts you've never enjoyed before. Namely, something that's neither Christmas nor celebratory, but nevertheless is shit tons of fun and excitement. What about that? Wouldn't you like that? Of course you would. Everybody likes that. David Sanderson's here. He knows. Huh, David Sanderson? Yeah, I sure do, says David Sanderson. I know you do. You're a big David Sanderson kind of a guy. You've always had that going for you, if nothing else. So anybody has any cognitive function questions, politics questions, debate questions, statements that they think they want to affirm for sure, for reals, but they want to check to see if they actually make any sense? Thanks, Grass Eater, thanks. I agree my first one was just a bunch of nonsense. You are correct in your assessment of that. But how about this? For a moment, grass eater thought he had schooled Eric. The moment passed quickly. There's a good story. That's an excellent story.
Was there a fart in this room?
I didn't put it here if there was one. What if we elected Hitler, but killed him before he became president to show people not to mess with racism? I mean, we'd have to make it absolutely clear that that's why we killed him, I guess.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you know, I'm not sure who would we be making it clear to. McCarthy was a blind boy living post-World War II. His eyes were seared shut by the blasts of gas back in Berlin, and he had a penchant for Russian ladies. He was later incarcerated on rape murder charges. I don't understand what the blindness has to do with the conclusion there. I do agree that you have a complete story, but I'm not sure how we got from the blindness to the rape murder charges. That's the thing. Does the blindness play into that at all? Is he thinking he's churning butter and chopping ham while he's actually raping and murdering? That's conceivable, I guess. Maybe is he deaf too, so he can't hear their screams? Or maybe he only speaks backwards language, where stop murdering me means continue pleasing me with this chops from your machete. If SI's experience subsumes the universal, what do SIs do with the fact that the universal contradicts their SI? Well, I mean, only sometimes does it contradict. So, I'm an SI user. Room 4 is locked and room 3 doesn't exist. I'm in autonomy right now. The answer to that is I'm an SI user, and it works like this. I see Rachel spill coffee on herself.
Yep.
And then I think, that must be an INFJ thing. I generalize from my experience. Then I go, hold on, Eric. You better check that. And then I use my TI and SI to go through all the stuff I already think about stuff and determine whether or not that's implicitly an INFJ thing or if it's just a Rachel thing. For example, certain things I'm going to conclude are linked to Enneagram maybe and not cognitive functions. Or just linked to personal experience and not anything else. For example, I have a particular affection in my heart for Vin Scully. So much so that when there's a radio ad on and he's the spokesperson, I'll listen to the ad. I don't care what he's advertising. I just like to hear his voice. Mm-hmm. Now, that is specific not to being an ENTP. It's specific not to SI or anything, although maybe an example of some relationship with SI. But it's specific to my experience because I grew up listening to so many Dodgers games on the radio, watching so many on TV, and hearing so much of his voice that it really... And also, I like him a lot. You know, I think he does a good job. I always thought he did a good job. So that links to my particulars. It's not indicative of the universal. If the universal contradicts my SI, if in fact you point to, well, look, Joe blah 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 was actually a better baseball announcer, then I would say, well, I think with something like a baseball announcer, you can point to objective things, whether they do a good job or not, but you cannot. But you cannot. All right, what did I just say? You can't say that the universal always contradicts the particular. And you can't say necessarily that the particular is dumb compared to the universal. Rachel, I wonder if, I'm sorry I should have told you before you went outside, if you could possibly get me one of those big burritos.
Sure. Would you be able to direct me on how to eat them up or whatever?
Sure. In the fish restaurant example, if all fish restaurants are bad, and yet a lot of people use them, the only conclusion to draw is that people like things that are bad. I mean, that's from an understanding of things where you need to draw conclusions about things like that. So an SI user will functionally conclude that all fish restaurants are bad, but they won't feel any need or interest in defending the affirmation statement, all fish restaurants are bad. That's just as far as they're concerned, that's something subjective that they can feel whatever they want to about. It's not representative of a logical issue. Remember, selfish third slot TI. They apply it when they want it. Let's see. P turned poo is not the best one. No, Sky Gear, I think you're wrong about that. It's a very good short story, but not the best one so far. I need to fix something. I lack the knowledge and supplies. I know what I want, but not what I need. I roam the aisles of Lowe's looking for inspiration. Can I cut this or frame that? What's the... Is that NE and TE? Yes, sort of. I mean, when I go to, like, we went to Harbor Freight, I constrain my, my NE in general constrains my TE pretty well. It goes, ooh, that's neat. Eric, what are you really going to use that for? And I don't get it. We didn't end up getting anything at Harbor Freight, even though it's such a fun-looking toy store. Okay, let me see about your unpleasant story, Grass Eater. Story. He just wanted to live his dream, but the dream required a price. He was willing to get in the hot tub with the record executive. He ended up walking out of the bathroom with a limp. He got me too. Yeah, I mean, you're onto something there. I think, you can maybe make it a little bit more concise. Like, Barry wasn't much to look at for...
How much time should I put it on for?
Can I see the package?
Is it a minute 30?
Okay, so 3 minutes then.
Okay.
I think it says a minute 30 per side. So I think you have to do 3 minutes per side. Could you double check on that?
Yeah. Remove, overwrap, wrap burrito loosely in a paper towel, did that, and place on microwave safe plate, did that. Cook on 1 minute hot, 1 minute 30 seconds per side. Okay. So 3 on each side?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, so Barry wasn't much to look at for a high-power studio exec. Beside the hot tub, a bar. Inside the hot tub, Barry. I limped to meet the Uber that arrived 45 minutes later. I like your idea a lot, but what do you think about that rendition of it, huh? Barry. He's such a Me Tooer. You can just smell the Me Too all over Barry. Barry wasn't much to look at for a high-powered studio exec. Beside the hot tub, a bar. Inside the tub, Barry. I limped to meet the Uber that arrived 45 minutes later.
Whoa, I wonder what happened.
Well, Grass Eater had to be introduced to the wonderful world of anal wreckage. But he got the part, didn't you, Grass Eater? You are the leading man in the next Hollywood blockbuster called Men at Sea, How They Shoot Things. It's a Navy pick. It's a Navy pick. Yeah. It's about the Korean War and the role of the Navy in floating near Korea.
Will your dad be in it?
No, this happened before he joined.
Ah.
It's a little before. Said a little bit before, but pretty much the movie is the Navy men, they float by Korea. The commanders tell them not to shoot at Korea. And then Grass Eater re-experiences the horror of the casting couch while in the movie as a character as well. So, as the captain says, you know you want to be first mate. And the captain has a hot tub. And there's a bar next to it. And gets Grass Eater drunk. Before he knows it again, butthole full of semen.
Wow.
Yeah.
That just took a whole nother leap.
Mm-hmm.
Can you do a story based on the cards for me?
Sure.
I could use one.
Would you like me to do you a reading?
Yes, please.
Okay. This first card tells the story of why Rachel wants a reading. Where the trouble lies. Where her heart flutters for need from information of the universal to frame her particular experience. Why? And the answer is she's worried that that lady on the rainbow is going to come take me away from her.
It's true.
Okay? That's why you need the reading. So the next card is why this concern might seem legitimate.
Oh.
I interpret that to mean Rachel thinks there are things she could have done to be even a more wonderful girlfriend to me that she didn't. Oh, I could have gotten that burrito before Eric asked me. Or, oh, I shouldn't have said that thing about the bed or whatever, right? Now here's the reason why ultimately her concerns are ridiculous. Or we'll let the here's how her concerns are.
The reality.
Yeah. She's the Empress. That's the reality.
Mm-hmm.
You can't fire the Empress. And here's the perception of the other parties involved, namely particularly me.
Hell yeah.
Hey, I'm a magician. You got nothing to worry about.
I always associate that with you.
And the level of devotion and or commitment, one of the way, either of that person. Hanged man, that's not true. I'm not undecided at all. I guess I'm saying
Maybe
the relationship is fine if we just leave it alone.
Yeah, that's a different way of looking at it.
And then the outcome of this force vector, this line of things here, is getting on a boat, going someplace, taking 3 sticks and having our way. I don't know what we're gonna see you say, but we're taking a boat today. And then the confluence of the two. Queen of Wands. So when we put us all together, we get to sit down with a stick and a cat, and we've got this fancy shield over here protecting us on this side. We've got a pyramid over here.
Yeah. That's Las Vegas.
I think that pyramid represents like, hey, you want to render me pointless, you want to render us pointless, we already have a whole pyramid built.
Yeah.
And even if you get rid of us, that pyramid's not going anywhere, you know.
No, yeah.
So don't even bother trying, right?
Exactly.
And also, I like the fact that we've made the sky purple.
Yeah.
Because purple sky is good omen. It means I'm going to get my dick sucked tonight. Famous. That's historically what it means. That's how the ancient Greeks interpreted it. I mean, there's a lot of different interpretations, but one interpretation of a purple sky is I'm going to get my dick sucked tonight. So what do you think of that reading?
I think that was a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let me ask the tarot cards one more thing. Okay. How I'm currently doing at reassuring Rachel about all of these concerns? I'm just kind of walking over it like, all right, whatever, another bridge to pass. What will happen if I continue my current course? Nothing. Everything's fine. How I might improve my course? Everyone just chill out. Everything's fine. See?
It's good reading.
Yeah. That's true. Everything's fine. Everyone just chill out. All right, that's enough. Just chill out. Don't want any more excitability from you. Was that side one or both sides? It was done. Nobody knows. Okay.
For when you're ready.
Was that? Did you do both sides already?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And let's put it down right over here. So, if there's anybody who's currently in the live stream who would like to get a card pulled for them, I'd be happy to do so.
Ooh.
Let me know. I won't pull it for you unless you ask, because some people don't like it. I am going to refresh here to try to get a camera shot in the Mizzix.
Can we do a poll for my sister in Serbia?
Sure. Sure we can. Pull for your sister in Serbia. Here we go. We're going to play. Was it wise? Was it smart? Will she be happy? Okay.
That's a great poll.
Smart and wise being different things. Was it wise? What'd she get? She got the Knight of Pentacles. So I'm going to say it's not completely unwise.
Yep.
Was it smart? No. Three of Apprentice. She's thinking that this. Look, I made a paper, and she thinks it's a big deal, but really it's like, okay, yeah, but there are a lot of papers you could have made, and just this first paper you made is not that genius. You should have really had some practice papers maybe before you sort of commit to a certain paper. But then, how's it all going to turn out? How's it all going to turn out? Ooh, what is this one? That's the
devil card.
It's the devil. Means she's gonna get her hump on, and she's gonna get her drug on, and she's gonna gamble away her wealth and hump and smoke and do all kinds of dirty things. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds like it was a great idea.
Yeah.
That's what I have to say about that. Okay, let's see what else we got going on here. Green screen is eating the card. Okay, let me turn off the green screen thing. Okay, hold on. What I'm going to do here, I'm going to just go ahead. I'm going to remove the green screen. Just get rid of it entirely. Filters. Here we go. We're going to turn that chroma key. I know. You know, it's a little overactive, isn't it? It's a little bit overactive. Oh, there we go. That's nice. That's gentle and sexual.
Yeah.
Gently sexual. Oh no. Alright, I'm just going to turn you off, chroma key. You're failing me right now, alright? There. Does that make everyone happy? I hope so. Can you see me? Can you see what I see? A child, a stupid fucking child. Okay, let's see here. We've got your old pop out, schmop out, as they say. Yes, this one. The old pop out, schmop out. There we go. What does it mean, client area? I don't get that part. Client area. Alright, let's see what the questions are here. Exciting questions for everyone. For example, I have you muted until the cards are over. Lol happened to glance up. Which makes me wonder what the equivalent is for NE8, foreboding predictions of negative outcomes. The equivalent to what? I'm not sure what you're saying it's equivalent to. I got to go back and look. Equivalent to what? I noticed that all NE-DOMs I've ever met get a kick out of grossing people out and think that's funny. SE Demon 8th. Huh. I don't get a kick out of grossing people out or thinking it's funny. I may end up grossing people out. I'm quite sensitive about it though. Like, I don't like other people grossing me out, but I think as long as I don't think the thing is gross, I think it's more funny than gross, then I'll tell it as a funny thing, not really aware that it's grossing other people out. How about taste? No one can end you so completely as the woman who speaks with the voice of your unconscious. That's a great sentence. How about it taste? No one can end you so completely as the woman who speaks with the voice of your unconscious. Well, that's true. Particularly the 5th slot and 8th slot. So, you know, if a woman were to finish making love with me for the first time, get out of bed and say, "You're a liar who's shitty at sex," and walk out, that wouldn't really work well for me. Because my unconscious 5th slot and my insecure 8th slot and my inability to defend my own feelings. Maybe it would even be worse if they said, "You know it's the truth that you're a shitty lover," and then walked out. Because then, of course, I'm competing with my insecure 8th slot and my absolute valuing of NI and her advantage of having the SI experience of example of data that she, I can't challenge her claim from her perspective because it's a subjective matter from her perspective. That would be the most successful way that a woman could end me completely by speaking with the voice of my unconscious. I guess your 5th and 8th comprise your unconscious sphere. That the truth works against you in the 8th slot or something. No, I'd say no. Fuck. Oh well. Let's go live stream. That's what I'd say. How does it feel to be F bipolar? Interesting question. That's like saying, how does it sound to be deaf? How does it look to be blind? Know what I'm saying? No. Better question, Legends Fall Cloud. How does it think to be TI polar? I like that question better. That's more equivalent. How does it feel to be F5 polar? Incredible. It feels like 1,000 jack-o'-lanterns atop 1,000 jaguars who are riding atop 1,000 crates of jelly and jam, and them all jiggling their way to joggle my jungle juice. That's what it feels like. It's exactly what it feels like. So yeah, self-reporting is a terrible way to type, people. I'm really struck by the fact that it's very easy to see now for me, like, okay, I mean, they're not necessarily easy. It's something that takes a long time. It's like the guy I just typed, we started at 1, but we finished at almost 3 or 2:30 or 2:40 or something because he was a challenge. He turned out to be an INFJ, but here's one of the things where I'm susceptible to affect as well. So his voice had that kind of INFP gonna cry soon quality to it. Like, I you know, and like this kind of crackliness that makes you think maybe they're getting emotional, but it persisted throughout the whole thing. It's just his voice. It wasn't indicative of FI. It was just indicative of that's how his voice sounded. Now, he also just sort of generally seemed kind of softer, maybe, than INFJs normally seem. A little bit more open, a little less constructed. But those things are minor differences in affect that are, first of all, quite easy and reasonably explained away by the fact that this is the first time the person has talked to me and has met me and is getting typed with me, even though they've watched me a bunch of times. Like, this guy had watched me a bunch of times. So there's going to be a weird kind of interaction frame there where, you know, the person's going to put more weight on the conversation with me initially, especially out the gate, than they ought to, and it's going to change their behavior a little bit. Hi, David Grandam. If anybody else would like to join us here in the autonomy room, you're welcome to come discuss a little something that I call life. I'm here. The Pope is here. Gandhi's here. Kim Jong-un is here. All the greats. We're here to talk with you about the world, life, your feelings, your thoughts, your relationships, your loves, your hates, your sports, everything from A to Z. I'm here to talk from you to me so that you'll go from being blind to see the truth that I bring to thee. Amen. Oh. I would, but I haven't eaten since yesterday. That's why you need to get one of these. It's called a microwave burrito. Microwave burritos don't require very much effort. And if you can successfully ask and convince your girlfriend to cook it for you, they require even less effort than that. So, this is something that's a recent phenomenon of mine. I did not, probably in the first entire year of our relationship, ask Rachel to go get me something and cook it for me. Within the last couple of weeks, I decided, okay, Eric, you're going to have to, if you don't ask Rachel to get you a microwave burrito and cook it for you, then she's not going to do it on her own, and it's plausible that you might get resentful of that. But the job is on you to tell her to do it if you want her to do it. And then if she wants to say, fuck you, I don't want to cook it, well, then you can go, well, that's fair enough because I don't really want to cook either, but I cook more than you, and we can have that fight then. But you can't even begin to get mad until you say to her, can you do this? Will you please make me a microwave burrito? And then she can say no. But if you don't ask for it, I mean, not at all clear you want it, how the fuck is she supposed to know, you know? So I've had this conversation with myself because on occasions in the past, I've been hungry, gotten grumpy, and felt this irrational grumpiness towards Rachel, like she was responsible to make it such that I never got hungry in the first place, which is, of course, insane. So I'm very pleased by this burrito because I successfully asked Rachel to make it for me before I was so starving that I started blaming her for not making it for me. Well, make yourself, Legends Fall. You gotta force yourself. You gotta make sure the food is easy enough. No difficult food. Rule number 1. No difficult food. Ideally, rule number 2 is no food that goes bad. So, everything should either go in the freezer or be like a condiment that basically they last forever, it seems like, or until you use them up. Dairy products are a problem. The only kind of dairy product I do have some faith in and trust is yogurt. You get a package of Yoplait yogurts, and you're in the mood for a yogurt, you crack into one of those fuckers, big spoonful of yogurt in your mouth. It's just like, okay, that's right. That's true, that's right. That's yogurt. Yogurt's kind of like whipped kefir. Cheese is great, but if you want something fruity, you want yogurt, not cheese. Well, Cloud, that's not true. That my truth is your lie. Because if you were to state a statement that I said was true, you'd be correct. Even if you thought you were deceiving somebody, nobody could accuse you of lying because the thing you would be saying would be correct. Last night, Rachel and I went to the old Baskin Robbins. You might have heard of it. Formerly called 31 Flavors. Anyway, the nice thing about Baskin Robbins is it was an essential business, so it never closed. We've had Baskin Robbins all through COVID.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice treat.
Mm-hmm. Whereas, unnecessary stuff like Guitar Center, for example, they were closed for quite some time. Ice cream is necessary, but guitars are not necessary. Books, no. Clothes, no. Cigarettes, yeah. Liquor, yeah. Weed, yeah. Ice cream, necessary, yes. Mm-hmm. What's that? Sitting down and eating your food? No. Not necessary. Drive-thrus are fine. Yeah. Well, yeah, sure, the supermarket's going to be crowded. That's why, wear a mask and stay 6 feet apart. Unless, of course, you need to explain yourself in a way that you're understood, in which case, go ahead and pull the mask down and speak directly into the person's face, then put the mask back on. That way, you're sure to have all the benefits of the mask and none of the harms. Isn't it great? Great idea. I'm just so glad that we've got smart people in charge who recognized that, yes, ice cream is essential. Yes, booze is essential. Yes, weed is essential. Yes, cigarettes are essential. Thank God they didn't close the liquor stores. I mean, I don't need clothes, okay? Who the fuck needs clothes? I don't need clothes. I don't need books. I don't need to sit down and eat. I don't need to go to the dentist. That's why they have teledentistry. Why do I need to go to the dentist when I can meet with the dentist on a video conference? That's just as good a way to fix my teeth. I don't need to go to the mall. I don't need to go to any sporting events. But the fuck I'm going without ice cream. And I'm glad our leaders recognize that. Last night I had the smoothie. The strawberry banana smoothie, it's called. I think I posited to Rachel last night, just a hypothesis here, but I posited that perhaps Baskin Robbins was making a move on the old Jamba Juice's market share. Something to think about. Food for thought. You know, Baskin Robbins has the most adorable holiday-themed thing. Let me tell you about it. So, picture this. Picture this scenario, okay? It's Thanksgiving dinner. You've slaved over it all day. You bring out that turkey and put it on the table. Everyone says their prayers. Dear God, I am so thankful for this dinner and my family and everything, blah, blah, blah. They dig in, but guess what? At the end of the meal, people compliment the stuffing, they compliment the cranberry sauce, they compliment the ham, they even compliment the collard greens. They compliment the mashed potatoes, they compliment the broccoli and the asparagus. Not a single person complimented your turkey. So, here's what Baskin Robbins affords you. A second chance. That's right. They have, at Baskin Robbins, an ice cream cake that's shaped exactly like a Thanksgiving turkey that's been cooked in the oven and it's all golden brown and Thanksgiving turkey, right? So, nobody compliments you on your turkey. You come out and you say, now, everybody, I want you to know something. I intentionally left that turkey a little bit dry because I didn't want to detract from the pièce de résistance, the real turkey I baked. And you put out the ice cream cake turkey, they dig and they realize, oh my God, this person didn't fail at Thanksgiving dinner. They meta killed it. I didn't realize until dessert just how genius their turkey dry choice was to begin with. It was all done to set up how we interpret this and how we feel about it. This ice cream cake is the greatest artistic achievement in history. That's what you're going to get. Baskin Robbins is a front for male prostitutes. Grass eater? Grass eater, grass eater, grass eater, grass eater, grass eater. Baskin Robbins is not a front for male prostitutes. I have been going to Baskin Robbins since I was a little kid. I have never seen anything in Baskin Robbins remotely linked to male prostitution. I have seen an endless series of teenagers at their first job in Baskin Robbins and no male prostitutes. And believe me, I was looking hard. I was like, can't somebody blow a guy around here? Haven't you seen how they look at those cones? Here's the thing. What I think is that hot dog on a stick is a front for a business owner who wants to dress up young girls in ridiculous outfits. That's what I think. That the real goal of hot dog on a stick is to become a successful business so at some point he can have a workforce of 10,000 teenage girls dressed up in those ridiculous costumes. There's no other explanation for it.
You just reminded me. It's time for me to smoke too.
Good. Are you out of weed? We're basically out of weed.
We're basically out of weed.
Well, we got a couple little nugs here.
I'll take a nug.
Here's a nug for you. Go ahead and smoke it through. Bring the smoke into your lungs. Let them feel inside your lung. Then you'll know that things are done.
All I need is a little.
Okay, well, there you go.
Perfect.
Cloud, I hate to tell you this, but I don't think people are shamed for breeding with convicted criminals. Like, I'm pretty sure every chick in the world, as part of their growing up phase, had their bad boy time where they ended up with end up having sexual intercourse with guys who ended up in prison or were just out of prison or something, because, there's something appealing about that to chicks. They think, ooh, he's a bad boy. Yes.
Do you think that I'm a bad girl because of I've been in jail?
No, doesn't work the other way around.
Ah.
You didn't even go to jail for anything real.
No, not really. I just was in a holding cell.
I'm talking about the kind of bad boy who was in jail for domestic violence, okay?
Ah.
The kind of bad boy that every girl secretly, deep down inside, thinks they want until they get it. A little bit of truth for you there. So, your wife, your girlfriend that you're happily married with or happily together with, you're going to have to come to terms with the fact that prior to you, they fucked their share of ne'er-do-wells. Just how it goes. Look, it's implicit to okay, look. One thing that's a component in whether or not a man is perceived as desirable by a woman is their level of confidence up to a point, and also that they know what they want up to a point. So, the surest way to get friend zoned is to be unclear regarding your own appetite for the woman's bodily charms, shall we say. If you're not expressing and displaying appetite for her bodily charms, you're likely to get friend zoned. Guys who do get friend zoned are likely to think, I'm waiting for her to give me the cue that it's okay, that she wants me to put parts of my body, be they hands or other parts, upon parts of her body, such as, for example, her shoulder or her nose. If you're waiting for those cues, then you've got the whole process backwards, right? The process is the woman wants to feel chased, desired, thought of as a humpable hump object, They don't want to be treated as just an object, but they want it very clear that the man desires them as a woman, as well as enjoys their company. So, the thing about that is, that's why what I'm saying is true, Running Fox. On some level, as a consequence, all women are drawn to the bad boys, because the bad boys are the ones who say, I know very clearly what I want to do with you, and that is, I would like to insert my penis into you and ravage you with my manly ways. And whether or not I care a lot about you, well, that's still an open question. You see, you've got to establish to me that I should care a lot about you. But you are hot. Now all of a sudden you've got a chick who's got many pieces of the puzzle right in front of her face, and the kind of pieces of the puzzle that are difficult to figure out by yourself. In some sense, if you're talking about relationship stuff, intuitive guys want exactly the same thing that women want, which is they want the girl to take away from them the need to make decisions and think about the thing at all. And there's something very appealing about that sometimes if it's an area in which you don't feel like you're good at making decisions or determining things. So it's only natural that douchebag guys who make very clear what they want and have very clear expectations about what they think the other person ought to be doing, and have confidence in a way that suggests they know what they're doing, are going to be appealing to women. Now, the dynamic's opposite a little bit for men and women, because I don't think that those same intuitive guys who are sort of waiting for the girl to give them a cue actually want her to be dominant in that sense. They don't want her to be like, okay, I'm leading this show here. Get off your pants. It's time to fuck, boy. You know, it's like, I don't think the guys want that, but they just don't understand that nobody dances until somebody says, come on, let's dance. You know? And chicks are accustomed to people asking them to dance. In other words, there are plenty of guys out there who aren't shy, who are going to go up and be like, hey, what up, girl? I like the way you're looking. Looking smoking. What are those? Curves? What is that? A woman body? What are you? Something I want to hump? There's plenty of guys out there who are going to be chasing them in a variety of ways. They're going to be kind of guys that they deem sort of creepy because these guys kind of like chase them around, want to be in a relationship with them, but don't know how to actually have any appetite for them in a way that's appealing to them, and just end up having like easily hurt feelings. So it's like they can't even engage with the guy without everything being a big deal. There's that kind of guy. Then there's the kind of guy who is a smooth talker and really seems to care a lot, but ultimately only just wants to get in the girl's pants, and then they're never going to hear from him again. The girls gotta usually learn from experience to recognize that guy. They'll probably get the guy will probably successfully bang. They get successfully banged by a few of those guys before they decide, okay, I have to either want what's the real thing here, which is pretend niceness but ultimate utility, or I've got to not fall for that anymore. One of the two. There are, and then they've got plenty of guys who are just sort of expressing some sort of general resentment towards them because the guys feel as though they haven't attained the kind of reproductive success they'd like to, either because they're not having sex often enough, they're not in a relationship, they don't think their relationship partner is attractive enough, or some other stupid ass shit like that, So girls are facing a lot of stuff from men in general, and the world frames men and women's heterosexual relationships in such a way that it's pretty difficult for it to work the other way around, where the woman knows clearly what she wants and drives that bus. If she does pull it off successfully, she's doing it in part by making the guy think that he's coming up with these ideas and he's the one who's initiating this shit because he doesn't want to be emasculated, Smart women don't emasculate their men. If you want to have a successful relationship with a man, you just don't emasculate him. What does that mean? It means, for example, sometimes it depends on the man, of course, but let's say you've complained to me about your car having a problem, and I go with you to take it to the shop to deal with this problem. And I start talking to the mechanic guy. I want you to stay out of it entirely, because at this point you've said, Eric, you take care of this. I don't want you running up and saying, now look, the last place tried to charge us this much. Don't give them information I don't want to give them. At that point, also, and then if I'm being like, okay, girl, go back over there because I'm dealing with shit, and you're like, meh. At that point, you've emasculated me. You brought me down here to deal with a mechanic. I'm dealing with it, and then you're coming in and stepping in and trying to take over the shit. So fuck off, It's like that shit I don't like. If you are talking about how things like, I wish you were good at meow like Judy's husband. He's great at meow. Don't do that. That's not cool. That would piss me off. Or, like, Eric, you are such a nice guy. I really, it's just being with you is so much better than being with any of those other guys. You don't need to worry about about whether or not they were more virile or masculine than you. It's not a big deal. I choose you. The fuck you do. I don't want to hear any of that shit. That's for sure. Like that she went out and had all of her fun, fucking all the bad boys, and then when she was done with that, what was left of her, she handed to me because I'm a nice guy and can be relied upon to both not excite her too much and not threaten her. That is, I do not want to be that person, right? But to a certain extent, all of us who are relationshipy men are forced to be that person. There's no avoiding it. It's just the nature of the world. Girls have a lot more sexual capital implicitly than guys do. And for intuitives, we typically do a poor job of mating stuff, if you want to consider racking up experience a good job, I guess. We do a poor job of attaining our own sexual identity at a young age. So it's like, for me, I had to have a metaphysical understanding of why I would have reproductive capital before I was able to even consider believing it. Of course, you have to believe it before it is, but for me, to believe it requires that there be good reason to believe it first. So that makes me metaphysical. Whereas an ESTP might simply make it so. They don't need to know in advance whether it is. They don't need to decide in advance why it is. They're not looking for cues on the metaphysical plane and words that say, I would like you to come over here and make sexual advances at me now, please, Eric. Which is the sort of thing I expected before I would really believe a girl wanted me to hit on her. She would basically have to tell me that. Telegram from the girl across the bar. What does it say? Dear Eric, I would really, really appreciate it if you'd come across here and make sexual advances at me. I'd be like, what are you up to? Are you trying to like pull some sort of prank on me or something? Some sort of trick? I don't believe this at all. She could be sitting there being like, no, seriously, come. I want you. And I'd be like, Joe, she's pointing at you, obviously. Go. That's just being an intuitive. It's like, the physicality is scary. It's definitive. You operate we're in a world where words won't save you. No matter what happens. Like, from a male perspective, let's say you've never had sex with a woman before and you're going to go about to do that. If you're an intuitive, you're thinking, well, how do I map out how this process is going to play out? What if my penis doesn't respond? What if... Yeah. Of course, that's insane. You can't... It's a purely physical, experiential thing. You can't map out in your head. So what I'm going to do then is I will touch her breast and that will cause me to feel aroused. The arousal will prompt blood to rush from the rest of my body into the penis. And that's how it becomes erect. But Eric, you don't decide to put the blood there, so how do you know it's going to do it on its own? I don't trust it. Well, that's a good point. You really shouldn't trust it. It's physical, after all. And yet, then, when there's a naked chick in front of you and you're squeezing her boobs, before you know it, something's happened to your genitals. They become engorged with blood. And you're like, well, but I still don't get it, though. I didn't say, go ahead now, I'm ready for this. This is how I have this whole thing scripted out. Remember, this whole sex thing anyway, it's a little play we're putting on so that the other person thinks we're manly and good and cool. Remember, that's why we have sex in the first place. To prove that we're tough and manly and have sex. And then the girl goes, ooh, and says, "You're a big man." That's why we have sex, obviously. This is like Eric at 20 or 18 or something. Completely detached from my own FI that maybe I could like things. It wasn't just to impress other people or something. Completely unable to even frame things through the real-time frame of SI. That is to say, I couldn't get the fact that you can't think in advance how things are going to go with your body, like saying, okay, and then after I've lifted this weight 10 times, my arm is going to get tired, is not the same thing as actually feeling your arm get tired and just having real map territory problems. Being so FE. With my very first girlfriend, when I was about to ejaculate, I would not only pull out, but I'd get out of the bed, pinching the top of my penis to prevent the semen from coming out, walk across the room to the trash can, and then come into the trash can, because I thought it would be rude to get semen on her. So that's the sort of insanity that an intuitive male who thinks everything's about meanings and statuses and impressions does with sexual intercourse when they're 20 years old or something, 18 years old,
I think I'm a lucky girl.
Thanks, darling.
You're welcome.
I'm obviously a little less consumed by my own fears and values and stuff. Yes, legends fall. Every ESTP says that. Oh my God, it goes on her face. Come on now. Every ESTP says that. But you know what? I find myself going, I don't really want to shoot it there. I think I do all the way up until that moment. But then I think, no, that's gross. It'll make me gag once I'm done.
That's not fun.
Yeah. Seeing all that cum on her face is just like, oh. Unlike on the computer, I can't just really quickly close the incognito window. It's safe there right in front of me. I gotta go get a towel.
I respect you for respecting me.
Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
Garrett Hurt. That's a pretty TE frame of reference there, Garrett Hurt. Realizing that women like to be gradually aroused and mapping out how to do that with foreplay does help a lot. I'll have to take your word for it. It's a joke. It's a joke, everybody.
What's the joke? Master Laundry calling.
Lordy, bungee cord. Yeah, me too. Promise, Pimp. Did you and I go to the same penis art school? Garrett Hurt, it's a joke. Are you kidding me? They call me the Fandango of foreplay. They call me the forefather of foreskins. That's what they call me.
Wow.
It depends what you consider foreplay. I consider foreplay things like sup. That's foreplay. Watch me foreplay with Rachel right now. Hey, Rachel. Hey. Sup.
So,
Sup. See? She's getting excited now.
I am.
The thing is, actually, to be perfectly honest, we probably have what you would consider quite a bit of foreplay because, we'll often have some interactions without intending on completing things. Like last night, Rachel was tired, and nevertheless, there was some activity with the expressed understanding, although maybe not explicitly stated, but that I didn't want to hump her right then because I wanted to wait until she was not tired. But, I still wanted to meow. So, the thing is, that's not TMI. See, I still wanted to meow. It's not TMI. That's the RMI, right amount of information. Would be no M though. RAI, right amount of information. RAOI.
Has anyone told you that you're a handsome man today?
Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
Now look, everybody. Just because I made a hilarious joke, it was low-hanging fruit, okay? What he said is here, it's the textbook self-deprecation low-hanging fruit. He says, realizing that women like to be gradually aroused and mapping out how to do that with foreplay does help a lot. What hilarious joke is just sitting right there, It's sitting right in front of your face. How are you not going to reach out and grab it? Do the clubs, NFs, SFs, ST, NTs behave according to stereotypes? Not really. Sort of, maybe. Kind of. Depends. Sorry if that's not the kind of thing you want to be texted about. It's neither the thing I wanted to be texted about nor something I didn't want to be texted about. It's just somebody texted me. Do the clubs, NFs, SFs, ST, NTs behave according to stereotypes? Can you expect the general behaviors and skill sets of people to coincide with their club? Not really. Period. Certainly it's not a good way to type people, comma, nor to eliminate the possibility of a type. Period. It's better to assess the function habits and corresponding values directly. Period. What do you think about that? Very good response, huh?
Mm-hmm.
So, thank you, Garrett Hurd. I appreciate it. This is gonna get demonetized. Why? There's nothing bad in this. We're adults. We're having adult conversations about important adult issues. Things people are genuinely concerned about. Like, hey, is it okay that I call watching Family Feud foreplay? Does that count as foreplay? People wonder about that. I say, of course. Every time Richard Dawson kisses anyone, you feel like it's me kissing you. That's what makes it foreplay. Cloud, have you not solved the riddle of steel? What's the riddle of steel? How many riddles does it take before you're made out of steel? Infinite. Trick question. Riddles don't turn you into steel. How can I riddle my body full of steel? Well, I could shoot it with steel bullets. Okay. Well, things that I think Rachel and I might want or need or ought to do tonight. We have long been putting off a much needed trip to the store, particularly to get drinks. Rachel and I are in danger of dehydration because we have the following drinks. We have bottled water, other bottled water, tap water, and coffee. So in other words, we have the following drinks. Coffee. And we drink coffee all the time. The problem is coffee doesn't really hydrate you per se. I'm not sure why not. It would seem like since it's almost all water, it would hydrate you almost as well as water. But my pee is as yellow as the hand that follows Hey Rachel and smooth like Shark Dick's chat. That's how yellow I am. Thank you, darling. Caffeine dehydrate, but why? What I mean, like, how does it get rid of the water? How does the water goes into me, but less water comes out of me than if I drink the same amount of water that's not brown with coffeeness? Why? Explain. Does the coffee take the moisture from the water and convert it into dirt or what? Look, I know you say you aren't doing that, Hambone, but I still maintain that staring at my chode so often comprises sexual harassment. You can make all the claims that you say. I'm not doing that, Eric, all you want, but if you weren't doing it, why would I be talking about it? Good point, huh, Rachel?
Yeah, really good point.
So anyway, from what I can tell from my logical analysis there, conclusions, Hambone's constantly staring at my chode.
Understood.
You need 10 grand for a union analyst school? Well, then you have already made a poor decision, sir. Ain't no such thing as a union analyst school that's gonna get it more right than me. I'm that union analyst school's mom's union analyst school. Mom's union analyst school. That's right. A union analyst. Analyze your union with my lingam. If you bring your yawny, I'll bring my lingam, okay?
Yeah.
We're having a yawny lingam party. Have I thought of teaching typists like they have superpowers? There's zero chance in the world that that would ever happen. And here's why. They have... I mean, the only way that would ever happen is if such a person were truly invested in being correct and not in being perceived as correct or being an expert. They're already experts. If they decide to be correct, they have to sacrifice all their expertise to get to be correct. They have to concede that. It's basically like saying, oh, I've got a 14th level fighter. I could go now try to be a wizard, but I got to go back to level 1. You know? Listen, Hambone. My body, my clothes, my choice. Your eyes, my business. My chode, your eyes, Is that clear? I hope so.
You make things very clear.
Well, ever since I got these chode revealing pants, I have gotten a lot of perfectly fine attention from my chode. You know, some guys come up to me and say nice chode, and they kind of finger down there, and that's great. But I don't think of Hambone that way. So when he does it, it's sexual harassment. Even if he's just looking, even if accidentally, from a great distance. See how that works, Hambone? See? If you don't want to sexually harass me, then why don't you be desirable to me? This chode ain't for any old toad.
Oh.
That's the kind of sass I'm famous for.
You are famous.
That's right, yeah. In the dating community on Tinder, they say, if you ever date that guy, watch out. He's bringing a satchel full of sass. A whole satchel full? Yes. I've got a satchel. I've got a knapsack. I've got a bag full of fun. I got a something that holds stuff. It's now number one. A canister, maybe. Container, indeed. And also Ben Affleck, who's surely in need of many more bags, be they knapsacks or whatnot. Oh, mail carrier bag, come to me now. The end. Strike me down in a court of law and my gaze will only become more powerful than you could ever imagine. Well, that's why I haven't done it yet, Hambone. That's the only reason. I'm afraid that if I attack you properly, as I should for your chode harassment, that you will pull an Obi-Wan on me. I'm trying to avoid that.
Me too.
Yeah, Rachel too. We don't want any Obi-Wans haunting us. Every time we go up against somebody, they appear in the sky and they tell our enemy, use the force, enemy. Well, okay, don't help him. We're trying to beat his ass right now. Fuck you. You Obi-Wan'd me. We won't have anything to say about it. Every time I see the name Milo, I think Eric just typed Yiannopoulos. I've heard that name many times, Milo Yiannopoulos, but I think to the extent that I've seen clips of him before, those clips have made me say, I don't like you about that guy. So, I'm not sure. Hey Eric, do you remember typing Milo's ISFP? Yes. He didn't seem very any polar from the Inky Pinky game, but maybe any manifest differently from other polars. I don't remember really. I remember feeling by the end quite confident that I had it right. So I don't know what to tell you. I don't remember the deets. Deets or schmeets. He's a sketchy EXTP. Was it TI that good? I mean, if I typed him ISFP, it means he didn't do well on the TI. Shark Dick stare is brutal. Ruthless, okay? Goddamn, they ruthless is what people say when they see the way that Shark Dick and Hambone, working in conjunction with each other, will stare a man into submission simply by looking at his chode. I see I was okay, but he didn't understand it immediately. Well, then he's not an ISTP, he's not an ESTP. Not an NTP. So, you know, what are we looking at? ISFJ, if I recall correctly, he was clearly NI, not SI. It's process of elimination. You gotta remember that when you go at it some other direction, you go at it from affect first and say, well, but this thing really seems meh. Then you may be doing what fundamentally is cherry picking. You got to look holistically at what can be eliminated and what can't. So it's like, maybe you're right. Maybe his any polar was better than other people's any polar. But was it significantly better enough to say that it couldn't exemplify any polar? If not, then leave that alone for a second. Find the things where you do have absolute certainty that, okay, that can't be yeah. Lock those things down, and that'll get you where you need to go, usually. Everybody knows sharks stare well. You'd think that's true, except I just typed MC McPhee. MC McPhee is somebody who's friends with the two Laurens, the Laura and the Lauren, who actually watch this channel. MC McPhee, when she's there and they have it on, they'll drag her along. She doesn't know anything about cognitive functions or anything. She's not taking any logic classes or anything. I asked her the TI questions and she's like, well, that'd be your dad, unless it's your stepdad, of course. That kind of shit, right off the gate. No, not only getting it right, but correcting the questioner about other potentialities that could render it incorrect. That's TI, and she did it consistently with all the questions. She was as good at it as my daughter, even though my daughter has had a lot of exposure to it, and this girl's had almost none. Why? Because it's natural to people. You know? It's natural. TI users, ISTPs, ESTPs, even their little kids, you present them with those problems, they don't have any confusion about them. They just get them right. You're going to sell your art for this education. So you have one piece of art that you're going to sell for $10,000, and you're going to spend that $10,000 to get certification in Jungian typology. That is a terrible idea. If you can sell the art for $10,000, that part of the idea is good. Do that. Then keep the $10,000. And don't do the Jungian typology part, because you shouldn't have to pay anything for that, because you have all the answers you need right here. For example, this is a burrito. Were you wondering? Probably. Now you know. Yet another freebie. And the kind of freebies I'm tossing out left and right all day, every day, 24/7. I'm out here making it rain gold bricks of wisdom. All you gotta do, stand underneath with the sturdy umbrella and pick them up when they hit the ground. You dig, dog? Right, it's frozen. Think of that Chipotle shit. Speaking of frozen, it reminds me a little bit of your mom, Garrett Hurt. Now there's a cold woman. Hambone, now don't you be bringing that TI up in here. We ain't got no room for that technically correct stuff, alright? I don't want none of that up in here. Their environment is FI, their environment is SE, their environment is FE, their environment is SI, and that's it. Maybe some TE. That's it. I don't want none of them TI.
There's PNP.
And no NI. And for God's sakes, I don't want any of that goddamn NE up in here. Now listen. You call this channel Missouri? Because it's a show me channel. You ain't talking about something I can see, touch, feel, and shove up my ass. I don't believe in it. The end. Period.
Good story.
And that's why I always say, God said it, I believe it, that settles it. You can see from my facial expression that I'm serious. Very serious. I'm going to start a new community, a new world. I'm going to get rid of the talkers. We're going to get rid of the I'm so right, you're so wrongers. We're going to have the doers, the how-toers, the rock and rollers, and the way out of controllers. Call this place Censorland. All you census is welcome to come. You and two tards are gonna go starve because we aren't gonna be there to help you no more. You just stay up there in New Hampshire, Vermont, Massachusetts, and wherever else you like. Rhode Island, I guess. We're gonna be down here down south. And in Texas. California, we're chopping you off the edge, pushing you out to sea. Fuck off. You two, Washington and Oregon, we don't even need you no more. Yes, I'm running for president. My name is... Zeke Swamp Southern Water Hog. Zeke Swamp Southern Water Hog is my name. And I'm running for president of the United States of America. I've got a clear plan. We're going to chop off the West Coast. We're going to divide the rest of it into a census down here at the bottom. We're going to leave the top little bit there for you few intuitives. And we know that you won't last more than 5 minutes without us. And that's it. No more fucking around, you know. We're going to just invade Cuba, take that shit over. It's going to be great. It'll be like our own mini Hawaii. You fuckers can have Hawaii, alright? California, Washington, Oregon, Hawaii, intuitives, New Hampshire, we're cutting you off and throwing you off into the ocean over there. All you guys can float away. That's fine. We don't need you no more. Oh, I'm sorry. I was, what's that word? I was possessed by an alternate universe, I guess, in which I have a very long name and I'm running for president under the premise that I would chop off the West Coast, get rid of New Hampshire, and separate the world into censors and intuitives. Some weird alternate universes I've been engaged in lately. Eric, Joseph says INFJ are the finishers. What does he mean? He means, I don't know anything about anything. That's what he means. Okay. Let's find out what's going on. I think one way to determine the NESI axis is if they readily accept the hypothetical constraints of conflicting values, questions, view, right, an example. SE brings the real world into the question. I think it's an SI thing more, actually, than SE Legends Fall. In the sense that higher the SI is, and or FI, the more likely someone is to demand a specific example. FI and SI both require the particularist. So if I'm an FI Dom and an INFP, I'm more likely to require you to give me a specific example than if I'm an FI Dom and I'm an ISFP, who are more comfortable with hypotheticals because of the NI third. And that is what I have to say about that. Eric, my ex-wife was an ESFJ. Twoo. She was an ESFJ. And let me tell you, the number one consideration regarding any given event was how we were perceived at that event, in the post-mortem. Events had post-mortems, and in the aftermath of an event, there was a review of how we had done, how we had been perceived, and most importantly, did we get pictures of everything that was critically important for FE maintenance concerns. No, she's still an ESFJ. You are correct to correct my position on that because I said the past tense what I wish I hadn't done that instead I did, but thank you for correcting me. What's my position on taxes? I think, let's say, David Sanderson, that we were to try to sustain the exact same tax revenues that we currently have for the federal government, but to do so in a more intelligent way. The answer would be get rid of withholdings, get rid of all income taxes, corporate taxes, capital gains taxes, and everything else, and replace it with a national sales tax at whatever percentage it causes it to equal that same amount of tax revenues. The advantage of that would be many, multiple, and substantial over the current status quo. One of the impacts that would be in the short term negative, but in the long term positive, is there would no longer be any need for tax professionals. So you wouldn't have corporate tax lawyers anymore. You wouldn't. Now that's for federal stuff. Keep in mind. There's no reason why the state governments can't continue collecting taxes the way they are. I would point out that even here in California, where state taxes are high, the taxes I pay to the state are minuscule compared to the amount that I pay to the federal government. So, I'm less concerned about impacting state tax policies than I am about federal tax policies. And I think that the sales tax is both progressive and fair. So who's going to pay the most in taxes? Those who spend the most money. Who's going to spend the most money? Those who have the most money. So the richest do still bear a disproportionate tax burden. You could still adjust that further to make it progressive by saying, still we don't have food taxed at all, or a couple other basic essentials don't get taxed at all, and adjust the sales tax rate up a fraction accordingly, and thereby make it even more progressive, so that it's only people spending disposable income on goods that are non-essential, quote unquote, that would qualify as the tax. In this case, you have something that's both progressive and fair. Okay, so would buying property incur sales tax too? I'm gonna say yes, but that we're gonna have a separate rate for real property. That is to say, land. We might want to toss in automobiles in there as well. But regardless, remember this. What you lose initially in the sales tax, you gain in the capital gains end. So if your house appreciates, and let's say you buy it for $100,000 and you have to pay, let's say, $16,000 in federal sales tax, because by my calculations the number is 16%. I've actually done the math a little bit. I mean, I haven't been super serious about calculating everything, but the basic math, involving the GDP, tax revenues, etc., puts that national sales tax at 16%. So let's say you were out to pay $16,000 on your $100,000 investment. At least when you sell it, you don't have to worry about paying taxes on the capital gains. Of course, the buyer does, so that would influence the market accordingly. I think, now that you mention it, now that I think about it, it would probably be wise to not include any investments in that which is sales taxed. So stocks, bonds, properties are not taxed, are not subject to the national sales tax, because they're going to be subject to so much local property tax anyway. Wouldn't we also have to increase minimum wage and welfare to account for the increased price of food and other necessities? I mean, I don't think those prices would go up. What I'm saying is, if anything, there's an anti-consumption impact here. So if you take your taxes before you give the people their money they've earned, then they've already paid their taxes, whatever. If you give people all the money they earned, and they realize that how much they pay in taxes depends on how much they buy and what they buy, then it actually has a negative pressure on consumption. Now, in general, one would think that's bad, because activity in the consumer economy is the engine of all economic growth and prosperity. However, remember that even the least taxed American worker currently is taxed at least 33%. Why? Social Security withholdings. My 16% federal tax rate accounts for Social Security as well. So it's saying we end Social Security and all other taxes, and the equivalent amount of tax revenue we can get based on the GDP is 16% on federal sales tax. So would that require us to increase minimum wage? No, it has nothing to do with that. It just all the various okay, so basically what we're doing is a fool's bargain, like insurance at the casino. Like, in other words, let's say there's a horse race and I'm betting on horse number 1, $10 to win, but I'm not 100% sure, so I also bet on number 2 to win, place, or show, $10. Now, it turns out that number 2 won and number 1 lost. Whew, smart decision, right? Well, no, it's not a smart decision. Because the point about betting on something is you bet on that one thing and you're right or you're wrong. And you benefit or you lose accordingly. When you decide to hedge your bets like that, then you'd be better off to bet consecutively in 2 consecutive races, because if you hedge, you're always guaranteed to lose one of the bets. Whereas if you bet in 2 consecutive races, it's possible you could win them both and lose none. So it's inherently better to not hedge in that fashion. The only reason you hedge in that fashion is when you're talking economically about circumstances in which losing is unacceptable. So if I put all of my investment money into a sketchy tech startup, that would be unwise, because I would need to, if I want to make that bet at all, I need to hedge with much more safe bets, right? But what I'm talking about doesn't work like that. In other words, the sales tax, it liberates way more money into the economy than it causes harms. So you're saying, well, what about the poor people who now have to pay more in taxes? Well, they actually pay less in taxes, because before they were having 33% of their money taken away before they got their paycheck. So now their paycheck is 33% bigger. Now, granted, everything is 16% more expensive, but that improves their ability to make economic choices. It doesn't harm it. They have, on balance, more spending power, not less. Even though they're paying a higher marginal rate in taxes, they're not paying the withholdings, which is functionally a tax, especially if you're young, because everybody currently paying into Social Security will not get it back at the end of their life, as is promised. In fact, even people who a long time ago were paying into Social Security don't end up getting it back. People like my dad, who the government considers too well off to deserve Social Security, even though he paid into it on the promise that it was a retirement plan that he would be able to get the money out. No, Social Security takes 33%. That's a 33% withholding. 1/3 of your paycheck goes to Social Security. That's how it works. It's always been like that. Crazy, huh? I mean, it's really crazy. Yeah, sure, I'll find it. Here, I'll find it right now. Social Security and other withholdings total what percentage of total income? Okay, so Okay, so 6.2 in Social Security. 7.6 for disability. Let me see if I can find a better page that explains this. It's split up into a few different things, okay? The base rate is 6.2% for Social Security itself. For people who are employed by employers, they each pay 6.2%, okay? So it pretends to be 6.2%, but it's really 12.4%, which is the same as the self-employed pay, okay? That's the base rate, 12.4%. So let me see if I can find a better page on this. Okay. Okay. Wage indexed amount. Let's see. How much does the Fed withhold, not including income taxes? Let's see. Tax withholding. Okay, I think I'm wrong. I think you're right about this. I think the figure I'm talking about is that the average person ends up having about 33% of their income withheld, but most of those people get a substantial amount of that, like half of that back. So people tend to have more money withheld from their paychecks than they need to pay in taxes to make sure they don't owe at the end of the year. So I think the figure that I said is about Social Security, which I've been saying for a long time, is wrong. You're wrong. You are correct about that. That is a wrong figure. And I believe the reason I got it wrong is because the figure I'm actually citing is one that says the average person has 33% of their income withheld per paycheck. Now, 12.4% of that is definitely withheld that they're not going to get back. That goes to Social Security. And I think that the other 20% or so represents the income tax they're having withheld, and a lot of people will get some of that back. So I believe the average person also pays about 12% in income tax. And so for the average person then, they'd get almost half of that withholding, that 33%. Well, they get half of the 33% back. So in other words, if the average person has 33% of their total income withheld for taxes and Social Security combined, then they end up actually losing about a quarter of their total income for both combined. So I was wrong about that, and I stand corrected. Thank you for correcting me, because I've been using this figure for a while now, and it was wrong. I got confused one time when I read something, I guess. Okay, so what I'm saying now makes sense. So for those of you who are saying, Eric, those numbers don't make sense, you were right. What I'm saying, though, now those numbers do make sense. It is likely that the average person has about 33% of their income withheld per paycheck, although they will get about a third of that back. Regardless, let's get rid of that 33% withheld each month, or let's call it 24% withheld each month, and everybody pay a sales tax of 16%. What is the advantage of this? Well, one, you don't have to worry about you paying your taxes. You automatically pay them every time you buy something, and you don't pay any taxes every time you don't. It gets rid of huge bureaucratic nightmare things that are currently necessary, like the IRS and a bunch of systems and meh, and replaces it with something very straightforward and simple. Now, granted, somebody has to go around and make sure that people are actually applying the federal sales tax when they're selling stuff. Businesses will have, obviously, an incentive to let people get away with it when they're just paying cash, and that's going to happen. But that is already accounted for in the number, because that already happens in the status quo to avoid regular taxes, and that's already accounted for in the number of the GDP as a consequence. Those kind of activities aren't counted in the GDP, so the GDP I'm working with already assumes that's going to happen. Thank you for reminding me, David Sexton. I'll go look on Twitter and see. I'm gonna look on Twitter. Yes, I surely am. Then I'll see if that guy there, that little gentleman, has responded to my message that I sent so long ago about hey, would you like to debate me about snow?
I keep on thinking it's so much later than it actually is.
It's only 5:30.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna do some laundry.
Okay. I don't see any indication that he responded. There's no like red dot by my message or anything.
Can I use your phone for music?
Of course, darling.
Thank you.
Nope, no response. He doesn't care about me.
Oh, I care about you.
Thanks, Rachel.
You're welcome.
You make me feel cared for as a
Oh, I
consequence.
love you so much. You're my bae.
So, yet another big failure. That's why they call this and every live stream another big failure by Eric. So let's see what else is going on here in the old streameroo. My dad's out of town. I keep forgetting that. Things are different when my dad's out of town. It's like, this is me and Rachel's house now, and it takes me a while to adjust. Okay, so social media question. Let me find it. I'm looking, Evelyn. I'm not ignoring you. Don't you worry your pretty little head about it. I'm going to mute for a second because I don't want to get copyrighted, and Rachel's music's pretty loud in the background. You're gonna have to copy and paste your question, Evelyn. I don't know what it is. I can't find it. Bye, Fox. Don't forget to go poo, otherwise you get constipated. I can hear Rachel's music quite clearly, so I'm afraid I'm going to get copyrighted if I don't mute. But I'm still waiting for Evelyn to re-put her question so that I can answer it with my answering mouth. What's your social media question? Do I love social media more than life itself? No. Is that your question? Thoughts on social media censorship? At what point is it private property versus dangerous information? Well, that's a very tricky question. I do respect the YouTube, that it's their platform, they own it, they can dictate the terms, and it's my job to follow those terms. And yet I also acknowledge that when we're talking about something that begins to defy the natural public-private sphere division. So in the world, there are what are known as public spaces. That is to say, the sidewalks where you walk down to get from one business to another. We could imagine somebody who constructs a massive city-size, privately owned situation like that has both housing and businesses and sidewalks and everything, and then invite people to come live there under their terms as a private business. Now, in that instance, I think we'd agree that if the terms were set very clearly in advance, then people could choose to participate in that potentially. Like, for example, homeowners associations. We live in an area with a homeowners association. They have the power to somewhat limit our freedom of speech. If we want to paint our house all kinds of crazy colors and let our shit all grow up over everything and whatever, we will hear from the homeowners association. So the thing is that just? Well, that's probably fine, because there legitimately are multiple communities, many different kind of communities to choose to live in. Most of them public, and few of them subject to these private space rules. Additionally, it should be said that even in these private spaces, like gated communities or whatever, that they are still subject to the constraints of public law, which means they can't do stuff that fundamentally violates rights, that in ways that do a person direct physical harm. For example, the homeowners association can't implement a punishment of 6 hours in the stockade for homeowners who don't obey. That's not within their power, because it's not a criminal matter in general. So the thing here is, the difference on the internet is that there are not many equal but different ways in which you can have a community in which you speak publicly with your voice in your face about various topics. There is not that kind of multiplicity of option. You have Facebook, you have YouTube, you have maybe Vimeo, there are some, but compared to the amount of places where you might live, the number of options is minuscule. So, additionally, in many ways, YouTube acts very much like a public space, in that people can go visit whatever channel they want and watch whatever videos they want, and do as they please. Like things, dislike things, comment, not comment, make videos and upload them, delete them, whatever. So it feels like a public space in which there are a bunch of private spaces. So that would be to say that this channel feels like my channel, even though YouTube is, as a whole, the whole thing is privately owned. YouTube has made clear in their contracts and stuff that the content is my content, that they don't own any of the content. That's one of the things that made YouTube work in the first place, is YouTube said, upload your videos here, you still have all the rights to them. You can put them up other places, you can, whatever you want to do with them. So that is one of the things that made YouTube special to begin with. And contrast that with Facebook. All the content you upload to Facebook is owned by Facebook. So that's a big difference. There's also other competing streaming platforms, generally with a specialization. So there's one platform that specializes in streaming gaming, I believe, and I think it's rather successful, if I'm not mistaken. Although I haven't heard about it in a while. I forget what it's called. And then there's Discord, which is not really a streaming thing like that, but is a place for people to talk and stuff. So should therefore YouTube be accountable to respecting free speech rights? Twitch, that's right. Thank you, Oliver. I think they're doing a pretty good job of it, frankly. They're not subject to the same kind of constraints that the federal government is, because they're not trying to criminally punish you when you talk. Ah! No, kitty, no. God damn it. Fuck. The cat brought in a live mouse. For Christ's sakes. God damn it. Kitty. Now I got a live mouse running around in here. It's probably wounded too. And she's lost it. She let go of it. Meow. Yeah, you lost your mouse. Great. And it's going to come run across my feet or something and startle me. Is that what you want, kitty? God. This cat, this mighty hunter of mine. Do you use TE when debating, or is it all NETI? No, I use plenty of TE when debating. It's regardless of what the topic is, I try to approach it from all the different angles. So let's say somebody's arguing that cognitive functions is useless because, cognitive functions ought not be valued because it's useless. That unlike MBTI, unlike Big Five, which can be used to accurately predict how well someone's going to perform in meow, there is no practical application for Jungian cognitive functions, and therefore it's wrong. Let's say someone's going to take a straight up TE argument like that. I would try to approach it in all the different angles. First, I'd try to question the basic claim that the Big Five is useful. I'd say, I don't think that's been meaningfully established at all. It seems like it might be useful to crush someone's dreams. Like, sorry, but only people with an IQ of 160 can be successful at this. So don't even bother trying. Rachel, warning. There's a live mouse in here.
Oh, really?
And Pee-Pee has lost it.
Oh, jeez.
Just so it's over there, so it might run out any moment.
All right.
Maybe leave that door open. Leave the door open.
Kitty, thank you, but you gotta get it.
Yeah, you bring it in. You gotta. You
gotta
just
get it.
She's like, oh well.
Yeah.
Left a wounded mouse inside.
Yeah, she's like, that's my gift for you. That's my. She's showing her love. Yes, P&P. Yes, thank you.
Look, Evelyn, I really think that what happened with COVID and what happened with this sort of censorship around that, it links to the Russian bots and the election that got Trump elected last time. Mm-hmm. And I really think that what happened here is all the big platforms said, we're not going to get played like that again. And they were all sold on the notion that COVID was a big real threat, like they were saying, and that what was going to happen is they were going to get a bunch of conspiracy theorists who said that that's crazy nonsense. There was a bunch of Alex Joneses going crazy on the COVID thing. They didn't want that to happen again. They were tired of YouTube being known as the place where people think that mass shootings are hoaxes with crisis actors. You know, it's like that kind of crazy notion. I mean, Zaylan, I think he's right. I don't know, because I'd only be generalizing from my own perspective. From my own perspective, I don't care if I know who you are or not. I don't care at all. If you want to debate me about something, and anybody who comes to me and says, I would like to debate you about, yeah, this is my position. If I disagree with it, of course, sure, no problem. I don't have any, like, you have to be this big, or you have to, but that's me projecting my own perspective onto things. And I think David Sanderson's perspective is more likely correct, because I don't know what it feels like to have 50,000 people. And probably you learn to ignore a lot of shit, you know? So, it's a reasonable conclusion. Possibly they're afraid. I mean, I just think it's not so much that they're afraid, it's that I'm lose-lose for them. If they're bigger than me and I'm small, then even if they win, it doesn't impress anybody. If they're bigger than me and they lose, then all of a sudden it's a big deal. Especially if I defeat them soundly. Now, I'm not saying I would or not, I don't know. To me, it doesn't really make any difference. I don't hang my hat on being the best debater. Everybody else hangs their hat on that. You know, it's like, that's not my point. My point has always been, I'd like to have discourse do substantive work, which means that when people have a point in dispute, that they discuss it in ways in which wrong statements are negated and statements that withstand scrutiny are sustained, you know? Gotta start on the bottom and fight your way up to the big leagues. I mean, I don't think it works like that, Karma's Pimp. Like, it's not like if I were to beat a lot of small channel people, that the big channel people will be more likely to debate me. To the extent the big channel people pay attention to me and listen to what I'm saying, then they're probably it'll probably be the factor that makes them go, nah. It's not like they're exactly afraid of me, but they're like, okay, not only meow, but this guy actually looks like he's going to be a bit of a challenge. So, I mean, Oliver Lyman, I know that. And I appreciate the idea of trying to generate as much publicity now before I even officially begin campaigning as I can. But remember that I'm not officially campaigning until after the inauguration. David Sanderson says, I think that Eric should rent a nice studio apartment, get good lighting, a better camera, and a better microphone. I don't need a studio apartment to do that. There's nothing wrong with the space. However, I will say I was talking with Rachel just yesterday in the car that I'd like to get probably a headset mic, because there's nothing wrong with my my microphone at all. I actually have very high quality microphones for recording music, but the microphone's over there, and it's not right next to my mouth, and I don't have an external compressor, so you get a lot of variability in the volume level. So there's nothing wrong with my mics. I've got two good mics. I can stereo mic shit. You know, I've got plenty of audio gear to do it well. But really, I don't have the right kind of audio gear for what I'm doing. So I'd be better off having a lower quality mic that has more compression built into it, because it's a headset mic, and then my voice would sound steady the whole time. And I was talking to Rachel as well that in addition to getting a headset mic, I want to move up to the next step on this camera here, so that right now this is the one that goes up to 720. The next one does full HD, so I'm going to buy a new camera. And the other thing is, it's important to remember what causes me to quote-unquote fail in certain ways. When things don't look good around here, part of it is the camera, sure. Let's say the green screen thing doesn't look good. What's the reason for that? Well, it's because I don't have the lighting set up properly. Let's say I were to set up the lighting properly. Well, that requires me, that's fine when the couch is up. But then later on in the evening, I put the couch down. And I have to move the lights. And then the next time when it comes to I want a live stream, I don't want to set up all the lights and stuff. And maybe I'm just gonna webcam stream rather than software stream. So things are a lot more complicated than they often seem. Oh yeah, tone matters a lot. I mean, I stated earlier today, and I'll say it again. My number one self-growth job is to not get angry when I'm disagreeing with people about stuff. Because it greatly undermines my effectiveness as a communicator. No, I'm a Christian. I try not to play around with that stuff. I see your point. Christian God loves all his children equally, true. That doesn't mean he has the same destiny in mind for all of them, though. So, it's not inconsistent with what you said that it might also be the case that God wants me to be president. I'm not saying he does. I don't presume to say what God wants, but I'm saying that heretofore I received no clear sign from God that I ought not to run for the presidency, that it's the wrong course of action, or that it's something I shouldn't do. In fact, quite the contrary in general. God sees right through those sort of constructed traps, Hambone. He's not buying it. You can't outsmart God, Hambone, even if you're an INTP. Hey, how about a game of chess? That sounds fun. I got the right software set up this time. Why don't you put the old linkaroo in the old chatapoo? And say riggedy roo, oh chiggity choo. If you say roo, also chiggity choo. And if you do, then I'll go biggity poo. Biggity boo. Put the thing in the liggity loo. Come on, David Sanderson, I'm waiting. God. Can you believe David Sanderson makes me wait such a long time for everything? Like he's intentionally being slow. That's why he sucks so much at chess. That's why this is going to be the time when I finally kick his ass. My chest's not frozen, your ass is frozen. Oh, there it is. Yeah, your ass is frozen. I got you there, didn't I? I got you. You've been gotten by me. Yeah. Oh,
go
yeah.
Bay. Go Bay. You did it.
Thanks.
You did it.
Thanks. Somebody got school. Somebody got burned.
Oh.
Here's a bunch of aloe. Put it on your burn, and it'll feel better.
Put on your burn.
Okay, so. Hambone, God doesn't like that either. Listen, you're one of those sort of sophists that the Bible warns us about.
Oh, softest.
Sophists, yeah. You're just saying words to try to interfere with my just and true relationship with the Lord. You know
It
what
is so just and true.
And you know what I have to say about that? I got 1, 2, 3, 4 words for you. Oh no, you don't. Oh no, you don't.
Oh, still looking, huh, PNP?
Don't worry, PB. We'll find it when its rotting corpse starts to stink.
Yep, that thing. Yep. Well,
That's when the fun really begins. Okay, join the game.
What are you playing?
Chess with David Sanderson.
Cool.
Can everybody see it on there? Yes, they can. Okay, good. It's my turn. I'm white. Okay. I'm gonna go like this. And then I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna play a different way today. I'm gonna play with verve. The problem heretofore is I've lacked sufficient verve in my play, as far as I can tell. They say that success in chess is, 6 parts verve, 1 part vermouth? I'm pretty sure. Mm-hmm. 6 parts verve, 1 part vermouth. I see. You want to go like that, huh? Well, what do you think about this, mister? What do you think about that? Huh? What do you think about that? I bet you didn't expect that, cat. Now that I have a rat-tat-tat, you're not going to expect this either, buddy. You are not expecting shit. I'm going here. What do you think about that? Uh-huh. You didn't expect that. I know. That's what I was saying. Okay, right. We're going here. You weren't expecting any of that, were you? No, sir.
Go, Eric. He's our man. You can't do it.
Well, let me just explain to everybody. Here's how I constantly dominate David Sanderson at chess. I just surprise him. It's a non-stop surprise. Why is there no... Hello, darkness, my old friend. There it is. Did you go yet? My turn? Yes, you went to there, from there to there, I see. That was a rather bold move on your part, one might say. Perhaps overly bold, if I were to be completely honest. I'm going to go like this and see what you have to say about that. What do you say about that? You see, I learned something important in my previous losses to David Sanderson. What you really got to do is move your pawns a lot. Okay? That's rule number 1 in chess. Move the living shit out of your pawns. Okay? Like, I'm going to move this guy right here. Now what's he going to do? I got pawns everywhere. It's raining pawns.
It's raining pawns.
Uh-huh. If this were the 70s, that would be the song that everyone would be singing right now. Because, as a matter of fact, it is raining pawns. Okay, I'm going to move right now to some place that I think we'll all recognize as a familiar old friend. Right here. Well, somebody's getting a little big for his britches, huh? You know, britch size assessment was always one of David Sanderson's weaker spots. So that makes a lot of sense. Right. Well, I think what I'm going to do then, as a consequence of his brash and, may I say, totally uncalled for aggression, I'm going to go like this. Yep. Just like that. That's the way we do it. I bring funk.
Oh, beauty.
I bring funk to every party. Whereas your junk's just retarded. That's the saying that the young people say to when they're trying to school somebody, you know, at school. That's typically where people do the schoolage. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and take this opportunity to move the old horseroo. Take your bishop with my horse right there. That should successfully prevent you from killing my so-called king. I see. Pretty sneaky sis indeed. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is surprise the living fuck out of you. Because that's what I do.
Any?
Uh-huh. I'm tricky like that. Don't do me like that. Don't do me like that. Baby, baby, baby.
Don't do me like that.
Right, don't do me like that. A lot of people get that wrong, and then they think the person is asking them to do them like that, but that's not how it is.
It isn't. No.
Quite the opposite.
I'd say.
Yeah. They prefer that no doing like that be accomplished.
That's what the mouse is saying to Pee-Pee.
Right. Don't do me like that. I see. Interesting decision.
Oh, hello, Queen.
Okay. There we go. That should open things up a bit. Go ahead. Go ahead. Take my queen. That's not my queen. Sometimes I think you're not listening to me.
Uh-oh.
Are you taking me seriously? I have my doubts. Okay. Well, it appears that somebody, namely you, leaves me little choice but to go right. Yes, right here. Oh, yes. It's a very good move. Oh, si, senor. Your move was very good. Okay. I mean, I see what you're getting at, but I'm just not feeling it at the moment. I'm thinking maybe you've bitten off more than your proverbial mouth can proverbially chew. Is one possibility that's occurred to me.
Happens in life.
It does. Yes. So. Won't do me any good to go. Yeah, I'm gonna go there. There you go. That's my move. That's my name. Don't wear it out. Some people call me the Space Cowboy. Others prefer to refer to me as the Gangster of Love. Regardless, nobody escapes nature's truest law. Ask grass, nobody writes for free. I'm going to... Interesting. I'm going to go... I'm going to go ahead and... Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and... If I meow that meow, then you're going to meow that meow. And then I could attempt to bring meow up to meow, which would be a good idea in general. Or I could move meow to meow there now, and then that would lead to what? Global nuclear war again? Okay, well, guys, tough call. What do I want to do? I think I'm going to do this. It seems crazy, but I'm gonna do it. I don't know. Call me a nutbag. Call me a sack full of wild oats, but that's what I'm gonna do. David Sanderson is one of his favorite insults. He calls me a sack full of wild oats.
Aww.
Yeah. I'm like, is that even an insult, David Sanderson? And he's like, in Soviet David Sanderson, insults insult you. It doesn't make any sense at all, David Sanderson. You know how he is. Okay, so let's try the old piggity pyow. That was what I was planning on doing. Might as well complete that plan. Follow through on my plan. It's a little TESE for you. That better move that castle up there. Well, it could go this way, you see. Ooh, you got me in check. Busted.
Busted indeed.
I'm not... Fuck, that was a bad move then, huh? That was a super bad move. Makes me feel like a bad mamma jamma. I move that there, then it won't do me any good, really, will it? No, it won't buy me any time, really. Well, I guess I've got little choice in the matter, Mr. Fussy Bucket. That is your name, isn't it? I believe so. Last I checked. Why am I in check? From where? Oh, that guy. I got you. Captain America over there. Right. I guess you think I'm gonna be easy pickings. You better think again, mister. God damn it. You and your goddamn horses. David is what I would call somebody who hates horses. He wants to see them all made into glue. He's made it abundantly clear. Everything must be glue, he screams. I'm like, David Sanderson, shut the fuck up. Be nice to horses. God, it's like I never met anybody who had such an anti-equine agenda before. But what can I do? You know? I can only be responsible for me and who I am, you know?
Exactly. exactly. I think you've learned a lot.
I can't be responsible for David Sanderson's bad actions.
No.
Not now, not ever again. I'm tired of living this lie.
I was just going to say, it sounds like you've learned a lesson.
I have a valuable, valuable lesson. Never trust David Sanderson to play chess with you with a good heart.
Ah.
He's an evil chess player with an evil heart who only tries to commit wicked acts against innocent people like me who are simply trying to go on vacation on a chessboard with their entire family, comprising a bunch of pawns, a king, a queen, 2 castles, 2 horses, and 2 bishops.
Sounds like a nice trip.
It would have been. It was going to be great. Except David Sanderson came and once again sabotaged our vacation to Victory Town with his nonsense, aggression, and cheatery ways. What are you going to do, David Sanderson? I'm not dead yet. I got that fighting spirit. Alright. My fighting spirit's over. I surrender. My fighting spirit didn't really last very long. But I had it there for a minute, didn't I? That was some real fighting spirit. You could tell. You could feel the fight. You could feel the spirit. Let's see what's going on in the old Chatteroo. We are all monsters when we allow our bestial nature to prevail. That's what happened, huh? I allowed my bestial nature to prevail. Alright, I will have a rematch, but this time I'm going to be smart. I'm going to make this window small enough that I can both have this window open and concurrently have the chat open so I can take people's advice if they have advice for me to get away with to successfully defeat the evil empire as I know him, David Sanderson. Okay. Mm-hmm. Buddy, ba 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 dee da da do, dee da da do da dee da 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 da, da da do do do, ha ba ba dee da da da, da 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 dee da do dee, da 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 da. Thank you, Rachel.
You're welcome.
That was absolutely beautiful.
That was a really nice collaboration, and I thought you did a good job leading.
Thank you, darling.
You're welcome.
Now that was I Dream of Jeannie. Can we now do Bewitched? Similar song, difficult one to do. How does Bewitched go? Well, you're gonna head out, says Levi Samuels. Nice seeing you guys. Nice seeing you too.
Yeah, you too.
He moved there, huh? Typical David Sanderson move. There you go. On lightchess.org. Welcome to lightchess.org, home of chess for people. When people love chess like chess loves people, then everybody wins. That's why I believe in lightchess.org. Lightchess.org is your one-stop destination for chess, checkers, chess-eckers, chess, and other such games. Visit today if you want excitement, adventure, and chess here at lightchess.org. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the Twisted Sister song or not, but we're not going to take it anymore. Instead, we're going to take our time learning about life. Like that. That's the kind of wacky someone I've become over the years. It's taken a long time. Am I in checkmate? You did not just checkmate me. Did you? Oh my god. That is so fast. Wow, you checkmated the living fuck out of me. Consider me checkmated. Oof. 200 IQ move. If you take the horse, I still get mate. That's pretty smart. You notice, I wasn't gonna take that shit, dog. I didn't see that one. I'm not sure I really saw the other one either. I just thought, nah, I'm not taking that. That's way too suspicious. That's like, hello, I am a wounded animal waiting to be shot. Pretty good. Pretty sneaky, sis. You must feel pretty special about that one. You must be like, that's right.
I believed in you.
I'm David Sanderson. Fuck all y'all. I'll play a rematch here. Let me just Rohagnelia Sigan was her original name, I guess, but we've changed it a little bit. Rohagnelia. You make me sick. Control Shift ham. Not ham. No. No. Like this. There we go. Copy. Now, what I want to do is go over here. And I'm going to put this over here. I'm going to put the paste in the go. But I'm also going to very quickly go. First and foremost, let me just say they are very similar songs. Very similar. Banam, 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 dun, 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 banam, 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 dun, 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 banam, dun, 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 dun. It's a good song. As good as the song's gonna get. If you like Bewitched style songs. The other one, however, is also similar. I Dream of Jeannie goes. So again, Bewitched is. And then I Dream of Jeannie is. It's very similar, right?
So similar.
Alright, let's see. Dave Sanderson, I want to play question mark. Question mark, shoot me a link. I am trying to challenge you. Well, you can find my type for chess game. Well, okay, well, put a link then. Like, what do you want me to... Oh, I guess you can't put a link. Alright, I'll put a link. Fine. Let me make a game. How do I do this? I don't even know how. Create a game. Let's see. Standard. Time control. Just unlimited. And casual. Or rated. There we go. And now go. How do you start? Go. Start. What's this? Random side. Go. Okay. Now create a game. I just did that. Okay, go. Casual. Rated. What? Play with a friend. Yeah. There we go. Now I got it. Now I'm cooking with gas. Okay, chess lover 5555. Now, how is it that you learned that you were the 5,555th person to love chess? Do they have that built into the app or what? Alright, so what am I? I'm black. You are white. That means you get to go first. Chess lover 5555. Alright, go ahead. Wahahaha. Universal. Okay, now listen. I want to explain something to you. I've been playing this guy David Sanderson, and he is up to no good usually. I want to make sure that you don't suffer from the same fate as David Sanderson by being up to no good. Can you promise me that you're going to be up to nothing but good? Okay? I'm tired of this kind of nonsense that I've been facing lately. Time for a bong rip. Okay. So I see what you're saying. I get it. I feel you, dog. But, you know, on another level, I kind of don't feel you. And I'm kind of thinking maybe not. So it's a challenge. You know, it's a challenge for all of us. We all make mistakes. It's okay. I'm confident that in the long run, you too will know the true love that comes along with being a professional cheesemaker. It's not for everybody, but it is for you.
What's your phone number?
626-615-8751. 626-615-8751. 8751.
8751.
Correct.
Thank you.
Or you may even go as far as to say, correct amundo. Alright, let's see here. I think what we need to do is go here. I greatly appreciate the comparison, question mark. Question mark informs me, and what I can only assume is a shockingly insulting chess insult. Namely, he says that I play like a pregnant woman. Okay.
This was pretty good.
Yeah, I'm thinking. I'm assuming pregnant women are super good at chess.
Got a lot of time, you know.
Right, they got nothing else to do. Exactly. Okay, well, we're going to go ahead and put that there. Now, if I do that and you go like that, then you're going to try to get that castle guy right there. But here's the thing, I won't be able to kill you with anything if you do that. And that won't be good. No, I'll be able to kill you with the king. unless you get that blocked off with something. Then I'm going to have some real problems on my hands. That's okay. I'm going to move here. I'm going to just go ahead and do it. You know, just, you've spent too much of your life denying yourself the way to be. No more. Just no more. No more words. No more promises. No more words. And no more promises of love. That's what I demand of you, as surely as I have to poo. If you kill that guy with you, then I'll kill him as surely too. And then we'll see who's truly new. There you go. Every move gets a poem. There's not enough attack in my game? Have you considered that I'm in checkmate? I'm in checkmate already? Wow. You're pretty good. Cloud, I've already beat you. Everybody's like, aha! We got you, Eric. You're not good at chess. I never claimed to be good at chess. God damn it. Fine, I'll rematch this fucker. I'm going to beat him this time and I'll show everybody, okay? You want to see some offense? I'll show you some offense right now. You're going to see some attack, okay? Question mark, you're going down. I'm going to attack you with everything I got. I'm going to bring my bazookas, my nuclear bombs, everything. Are you ready? Can you handle this? I don't think so. You can't handle me. I don't think so. Boom. I did play you, Cloud. I beat you. I'm not trying to claim. I ain't trying to claim no big deal about it, nothing, but I'm just saying, dog. You want to see some attack? I'll show you some attack. Boom. Bring that queen out right there. Right now. Fuck your shit up. I'll roll with nothing but nuclear bombs and studded clubs. You see, if I'm going to take out a club, which I often do, it's going to have a stud on it, meaning specifically a nail or something to make it extra dangerous. Danger is my middle name. Well, actually, it's my first name. I was lying. There. Okay, so he says not enough attack in my game? What do you think that is, huh? That's what I call an attack and a half. For example, bow. Go ahead, take it with your horse. I'm going to kill my pawn. What do you think about that, huh? You ain't never seen nothing so forceful as this. I'm a tank, and you are not even an armored carrier of troops. That's how much less attacky you are than me. You think you're going to get my queen with your horse. But, good luck with that, buddy. Good luck with that. Because I'm going to do something tricky. I'm going to go like this. I'm going to go like what? I'm going to go like this. Go ahead, take my queen. Go ahead. Be my guest. Take my queen. See if I care. Alright, fine. Now I'm going to get you with my horse. Unorthodox, you say. Hey, Eric, that's an unorthodox move. I'm an unorthodox guy. I'm a southpaw as a boxer. What I do is I surprise you. I rope-a-dope you for rounds and rounds and rounds. And then, when you get complacent, that's when I stab you right in the chest. You'll see how it goes. For example, here's something you never thought I was going to do. You never even dreamed I would do this. You never even dreamed Never even considered it possible that I would make this move. But I did. Why? Well, I'm pretty badass. You might be thinking, what are you doing, Eric? What are you doing? I'm confused. Here comes the Mietity Maz. Now you're not confused anymore. You're like, fuck, he's dominating. And you'd be correct. Yeah, I see what you're trying to do there. I see what you're trying to say. Well, unfortunately, I guess you might say I'm not really exactly down for that. If you would go there, I mean, that wouldn't exactly be ideal for me. So I think what I'm gonna do is go ahead and kill your bishop. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and kill that with my bishop. Seems like a wise notion. I'm into wisdom these days. I've been studying wisdom with my guru for a while now. He's pretty good, as gurus go. You know, he's not the most expensive, but he's not cheap either, which is what you want in a guru. You want a medium-priced guru. I think that's fair to say. There we go. Try to castle. You try to castle, David Sanderson. Shh. Try to castle. I've tried it a million times. I can never figure it out. Which one do I grab first? The castle, the king? Ay, 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 it's so complicated. You know what I'm saying? I think you do. Can you castle this way? Or only this way? You can only castle to the right, huh? Castle me this, castler, is what one of the famous Batman villains always said. The Castler, I believe it was. Not one of them. I'm not saying he's one of Batman's most popular villains. You might not have ever heard of him, but certainly, indisputably, one of humankind's greatest geniuses. I know, you think he's going to take Meow and bring it over Meow. He's going to put his queen right there is what you're thinking. You're thinking, watch out, Eric, he's going to do that. Don't worry, I'm way ahead of you, okay? I got this shit. I'm all over his ass. That queen's not going anywhere. I got a secret bomb. It's planted under this square right here. And as soon as he lands on this guy, boom! He's toast. He's toast like, what do they call it? Cinnamon Toast Crunch is toast. Which is to say quite a bit toast. Like, did he go yet? Oh yeah, he did. Is it my turn? He moved that guy right there? That's an odd move. Okay, so I'm gonna make love to your mom now. Hope you don't mind. It is a metaphor, you're right. Oh, you can castle both ways? I didn't know you could castle that way. That's hilarious. Hey, en passant. I want to en passant him. How do I do that? Can't I en passant him? Isn't that illegal or something? Didn't he en passant me? Is that not okay? Isn't that not allowed, what he just did? Judge, I think I suffered a rules violation. Hello? Somebody help. That's en passant. That's some French word. I know it is. You're not supposed to be able to do that. God. Can you believe how he just cheated? Oh my God. He is such a cheater. Okay, so I don't understand why he was able to do that. I thought you couldn't do that en passant thing. Nobody wants to explain it to me, apparently. Aren't I supposed to be able to kill him? Oh, is that checkers? That checkers? Okay. My mistake. I thought we were playing checkers, I guess. I thought that was chess that you couldn't do that. It's checkers, huh? Learn something new every day. Okay. Well, in that case, Fine. I'm going here. That means your heart is in deep shit. Listen. I am accustomed to dangerous spots like this, Hambone. I'm a fighter, a warrior. I've been in situations where it was just down to me versus 160 Zulu warriors. 160 Zulu corpses later. Alright? I think we know what happened. Okay. So, today we are different people than the people that we were yesterday. And the reason for that is something called growth. That's why I'm going to grow my pawn one space this way. That's the metaphor. Is that a euphemism for depression? What's a euphemism? I've never even heard that word before. What are you, some kind of vocabulary god? Search Google for euphemism. A derogatory or unpleasant term used instead of a pleasant neutral one, such as loony bin for mental hospital. Heart full of shit? Is that what the expression was? Okay, so I'm not quite sure how to get across to you that you're making it pretty difficult for me here to, cooperate with you because you're always doing shit that gets in my way and stuff. I don't want to be that blunt. I try to have better FE than that, but your heart is made out of nothing but shit is a euphemism for depression. Yes, that's true. That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking as well. You and I were on the same page there. I'm going to go ahead and kill that pawn with my castle in yonder fashion, you might say. It's an affliction, not a challenge, says somebody. The movement of the queen is both striking and obscene. I can't recall a gleam so virulent in ages. Well said, Eric. Well said, sir. Very well said. Thank you. I appreciate it. You're welcome. I do like to praise you for your articulate nature and incessant yammering, no matter what you're doing, be it playing chess or... Wait a second. What happened there? Hold on a second. You killed that pawn. Oh, right. Right. You didn't have to kill the pawn with your pawn. Forgot about that. It's one of those tricky new rules they have in chess, huh? Always hated those new rules. Well, it's actually not such a bad thing. It's, could be a lot worse. Could be a lot worse. What I'm going to do, I'm going to just go right ahead, and I'm just going to put this guy right here, and we're going to be just fine. Everyone just relax. It's not that big of a deal. We're going to be just fine. Put the castle where your horse can defend. It is where my horse can defend now, okay? It is. Listen, it may not look like it, but I am just about 2 moves away from winning this game. I'm serious. It's just that close. It's going to be that impressive when I do, too. You're going to be like, oh my God, I never saw that coming. And for good reason. Why? You never did see it coming. And you never will, thanks to my chess genius. Okay, so, let's go ahead and, how you say, kill this, how do you say, pawn. There we go. There you go. That's fine. You're fine. That guy will be fine. I'll kill him, but he'll be fine. Everybody wants a guy in a castle. It's like castle here, castle there, castle everywhere. What do I look like? This is the question. What do I look like? A TV show about a guy named Castle? You see what I'm saying? This is just how we do it. That's how you attain hilarity. It takes a lot of practice, years of hard work, and a strong inclination to expose yourself in the most degrading of fashions. Look at that. You didn't expect that. Nobody expected that. Why would they expect that? You might say, Eric, that's a dumb move. Why would you do it? Of course they don't expect it, because it's a dumb thing to do. Ah, that's what I wanted you to think. I'm pretty sneaky. Trying to out-sneak me is like trying to out-sneak a slippery snake. That is to say, nearly impossible. Nearly, but not entirely impossible. Now, what you're going to see here is something specialized. It's a move I developed back in summer camp in 1984. Don't try this at home. It's a little bit risky. You might discover that you caught gonorrhea when you didn't expect to. So just be prepared for that. Other than that, everything should be fine. Everybody keeping up on this? Are you keeping up on all this bullshit? It's pretty important bullshit. You're not going to want to miss out on any of this bullshit, okay? This is the kind of bullshit that changes lives. I'm not going to lie to you. Not today, not tomorrow, not the next day, perhaps the day after, but that's the only occasion in which I might lie to you. So, you know, today, no. I'm on Zero Lies Day. I have that every third Tuesday. Right. Okay, so given that, then I'm going to go ahead and do this naturally instead of unnaturally. I like to do things the natural way. It prevents me from getting dysentery, and I can impress the vegans. Now, if I let you kill him, that's not going to do me any good. So, you know, question mark. I am not just blowing smoke up your ass when I say, please, can you just fuck off? I don't mean to be rude, but seriously, is that too much to ask? It is, isn't it? I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked. That was rude. That was rude of me. My mistake. Moving there, huh? That's a strange place to move. Okay, well, I think what I'm going to do is go ahead and rock the proverbial Casbah. It's one possibility. I think maybe now's the time to castle. See, now's the time to castle. See? That's what you do when you're thinking with your brain. Wait a second. That didn't work out very well. Now what am I gonna do? I'm gonna kill this guy, sure. But is that really gonna help me that much? I don't know about that. Well, there. You didn't think I was going to do that, huh? I'm smart. Smart as a genius who just got off work at the Genius Factory and just can't help but impress everybody with his non-stop awesome genius. That's why. And that is why you fail. Because you lack my unbelievable genius. Okay? Not everybody can get it. It's hard to get. Oh, sure. Move your castle. That is so stereotypical. You're so obvious. Oh my god. It's like, could you be any more obvious of what you're trying to do? I can see right through you at every move you're making. One of my favorite things to do is to lose to people who are playing chess, who make it clear to them that really it's totally all just luck. There's no skill in their victory, okay? It's just totally random. In any other occasion, it could be I'd be kicking your ass, okay? It's just you're just getting lucky. That's how chess is. It's a game of pure luck. See? See what I mean? See how lucky you get? See how lucky you are? See? Lucky? God. I'm so sick of question mark getting so lucky all the time. Am I in checkmate? No, I can still move someplace. As long as I can move, there's a hope, there's a chance I'm gonna live and win and kill everyone. Oh no, oh no, oh no. That looks like checkmate. No, it's not. There. I didn't get checkmated. Chickadee, 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 checkmated. Now I'm chickadee checkmated, right? No, I'm still not chickadee checkmated. Huh. What do you know? It looks like somebody is making a comeback. Ooh, big mistake. Big, big mistake. Because look, pow! I got you now. Big mistake, because pow! I mean, pow! That question mark. Okay, so just so everybody knows, just in case anybody has any doubt about it, alright, let me make this clear. So far I've identified two cheaters. David Sanderson and question mark. They are obviously both cheaters, so don't play them unless you want to get to play cheaty time, okay? That's not any fun, obviously, to play cheaty time, so just, obviously they were cheating. There's no other way they could possibly have beat me at chess. I'm not sure if you guys are aware of this, but studies suggest that I'm the smartest one. That's, and when people beat me at chess, that would tend to belie the truth of those studies. And if those studies are obviously true, then they must be cheating. It follows logically. Now, I don't think I want to play any more chess. I'm tired of... see, the problem is this lie chess thing. Obviously, there's some sort of bug in it that lets people cheat. Otherwise, I wouldn't be losing. So, I don't know. I would like to talk to you a little bit about some interesting things I learned about yesterday. Sky refrigeration. Do you know that Benjamin Franklin invented sky refrigeration? You might be able to guess what sky refrigeration is. It's not that complicated. You take the thing that you want to make cold and you attach balloons to it and you take it up into the air high enough that it makes the thing cold. Fine, Cloud, I'll play chess with you. I just closed all that shit, god damn it. Fine though. Fine. Big battle. Eric's playing chess versus Cloud. Cloud's big opportunity to beat Eric at chess. I'm give you the best I can at my game and we'll see how you do. I will create a game. It's going to be one of those. Piowdy Pios, go ahead. And play with a friend, play this one, and get the URL, and copy, and put it in the Mia, put it in the Pia. There you go. Alright, so just keep it for whoever's keeping track. Remember, so far we've determined 2 cheaters, and they are question mark and Dave Sanderson, and we'll see if Cloud's a cheater. It's going to be based on whether or not he wins. Is this you, Cloud? Or did somebody else jump the link? Let me see. Is that you, Cloud, or did somebody else join the link? What did you say, Jeff Shaw? I can't see it. Oh, that is you. Okay, fine. If that's you, then I'm satisfied that you know how to experience the true feelings of love in your heart. And, of course, naturally, that's what I'm concerned about. Alright, so interesting so far what's happening here. We've got a fast moving action, you might say. You might even go as far as to say we are currently enjoying the benefits of fast actin tenactin. And you know, that wouldn't be lying. Fascinating stuff. I feel like Cloud and I are more evenly matched than I think question mark just whooped my ass. I'd be interested to see David Sanderson play question mark, since it seems as though question mark is quite good and Dave Sanderson is quite good, so naturally makes one curious. Understandably. Right, okay, well, that makes sense. That's fine. That makes good sense. So, what I want to do here is just go ahead and... I'm just going to go ahead and... I guess you might say, settle on this space here. We're going to do a little settling. Hope you don't mind. You don't mind if I settle there, do you? Hope not. I enjoy a settlement now and again. It helps bring me into a space where love, life, laughter, living, and languidity all conjoin to create what one might call a bouillabaisse worth of delight. Okay, interesting. So you've got that guy going to there, you move that guy there, and then you try to get there, and then okay, I'm gonna go there. Fine, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna be bold. I'm gonna be fun. I'm gonna take a chance. You know, Judy always says, Eric, let your hair down, and I say, I know, but I never do. But this is my time. This is my chance to party. Go ahead, give me that piece of drugs that you have there. I'm ready to enjoy partying for the first time in my life. I will finally understand what that one lady says when she insists that, quote, it feels like the first time, and then clarifies the very first time. It's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to it. I see. Well, I mean, I don't blame you. I'm not mad. I'm not saying you shouldn't have done that. What I'm saying is, if you're gonna do that, then you should be thinking about how to apologize later, at the very least, right? Because if you're not gonna apologize, well, then I might get a little bit fussy. You don't want that, do you? No, you don't. Fine. Fine. Go ahead. Go there. Kill that guy. Do that thing. Be a dick. See if I care. Cow. Okay. And I won't do any good. Okay. Cow. Well, that's not good. Okay, I surrender, Cloud. You win. I'm sure that's very, very satisfying for you. Let's see. I mean, I don't feel like I'm getting mauled. I feel like I played about as well as I'm going to play against both David and Question Mark. I think maybe I could have played a little bit better against Cloud in the sense that I didn't really want to play that last time. I sort of made myself play. It was on the screen, wasn't it? Wasn't it on the screen? But that's not in any sense to say that Cloud didn't beat me fair and square, or that he's now whatever, whatever claims Cloud wants to make about beating me at chess, he's welcome to make. As I've said many times before, I don't care about being good at chess. Yeah, I did beat you, Cloud, and you beat me. It's like, Cloud, even you have to understand that claiming that I've beaten you is different than claiming that I will always beat you, or that I have never lost to you. Now I have lost to you. It's not like you caught me when I said, and you said you beat me. I did beat you. But I didn't beat you today. You won. It may be the case that my having beaten you was a complete fluke. Only happened once. Possible. Nevertheless the case. That I beat you. And now you've beaten me. So our record is 1-1. I don't want to play chess anymore. It's not because I keep losing. I've spent my entire chess life losing at chess. It doesn't bother me at all. I've never thought myself good at chess. I'm not interested in being good at chess. I do find it fun to play. I don't mind losing at all. But I have it entertains me for a limited period of time. So I was done after my first 3 games. I went ahead and played again on Cloud's behalf because he wanted to play, and that's fine. And that's it. Hi, Tiny Man 66. I'd like to think I wasn't really expecting anything. I rescued a wounded lion cub. Once healed, was released. 2 years later, I passed the ferry. I saw him. He saw me. We ran towards each other. We were only 2 meters away. I realized it's not the same lion. It's pretty good. You could also end that with, as I realized, long story short, that's how I lost my legs. Wasn't the same lion. For sale, condoms. Never used. That's the Intuitards version. Yeah. No diz out. Yeah, YouTube did that, Jeff Shaw. It said YouTube Meow got deleted by the YouTube moderator. It wasn't. It's not any moderator here. What link do you want to post, Cloud? Briefly. What link do you want to post? Burr, it's cold. I don't think it really makes any difference. As far as I can tell, almost everything that's in top chat is also in live chat. Because I don't think we have what they consider spam posts here very much. Fair enough, Anders. Fair enough. Now you gotta make a game. You gotta say, play a friend, then I'll make a link, and then you put the link. I'm not playing anymore. I don't want to play right now. I didn't even want to play before I played you. I had exhausted the fun that chess had to offer me. Because I don't need you to. There's no reason for you to. Hey, you should do more Quora stuff. Yeah. I think chess is mostly an NITE game. I like NI. I can do some TE, but I already gave you an opportunity. You beat me, and you should feel satisfied because I gave you my best shot and I lost. You're better, whatever. I don't care. I don't want to play again. It's not that I don't want to. I'm afraid I'm going to lose to you again. I don't give a fuck. I'm tired of playing chess now. That's it. I played plenty of chess now for today. And it's like, how much chess can a chess man chess if a chess man could chess? About 4 games. That's it. Let's see what's going on in the world. What's going on in town. Thinking about making a video based on this document here. Surprising practices. Self-mummification. Did you know that self-mummification is peculiar to Buddhists and it refers to a deliberate act by monks to turn themselves into mummies as they slowly die? The process is long and arduous. In fact, it begins 3 years before death. First, the monks adopt a tree-eating diet. That is, they only feed on nuts, roots, berries, and bark. The most delicious of the options. Who doesn't love bark? Between 1,000 and 3,000 days later, they begin what is called Nyujo. They stop eating. They only drink water mixed with salt as they slowly meditate to death. They are buried alive at the brink of death. Their remains are later exhumed to confirm if they have decayed or turned into a mummy. Such mummies are rare. And one in a statue is even more unusual. I'll say. In fact, the body of the Buddha we mentioned earlier is the only known example of self-mummification inside of a statue. After he died, his mummified remains were displayed in a temple for more than 2 centuries. However, the body slowly disintegrated, prompting some monks to encase it in a statue. An X-ray reveals that the skeleton remains in perfect condition. Isn't that interesting? It is, yeah. I want to tell you something else that's interesting. People wonder why the Europeans, such awful people, why they were such imperialists, go force their way around the world, colonialist garbage, down with Whitey, whatever, all that kind of stuff. Here's why we did it, okay? just to be clear, here's why. I want to talk to you about the invention of a special gun. It was before the Gatling gun, and it was known as the Meow Meow gun, the Maxim gun, okay? So there was a battle in the city called Omdurman. In this battle, In this battle, 20 British casualties from a small force of like maybe 100 British people were routed an army of 40,000 Sudanese warriors, and the casualty rate was 10,000 Sudanese casualties, 20 British casualties. So if you want to know why the Europeans engaged in colonialism and imperialism, this is why, right here. This is why. Talk about a massive advantage in terms of technology. 10,000 Sudanese dead at the cost of a mere 20 British soldiers. This has been BBC 3. I am... Thank you for joining us. Sky refrigeration. Sky refrigeration. Why don't we have it already? Why have a refrigerator? Instead, have a bunch of balloons that are filled up with helium or hydrogen or whatever, so that they go high up into the air. Now, from the bottom of each of those balloons, simply hang a bucket with the thing you want to get cold. So you raise it up into the air, high enough where it's really cold. You bring down, and lo and behold, look at that. Your frozen hamburger patties, still frozen. Why? Not because they've been in the freezer, because they've been at 20,000 feet. Next new thing that I think was cool. The harmonica. Has anybody ever heard of the harmonica? I haven't. You might say, the harmonica? No, not the harmonica. The harmonica. The harmonica. Can you not see the back of this thing? Yeah, you can. Okay. The harmonica. Okay, so what is an harmonica? Well, you know how if you put a circle of a bowl, and you put some water in it, and you your finger, and you go like this. Well, this is like an automated one of those things, okay? This is what it looks like, and you touch it like that, and you wet your finger, and you get that sound, okay? Pretty cool, huh? Here's an interesting notion. There was a time when people thought it was best to watch movies in the daylight out of a need for security. In 1910, that's exactly what some people tried to do with daylight motion pictures. It was a trend that raced around the United States, and it spread like wildfire. The concept utilized darker screens, brighter and stronger projectors, and the misapprehension that movies needed to be enjoyed in the full light of day. California even passed a law stipulating that movie theaters were required to sufficiently illuminate their theaters so that patrons could see one another. Of course, the craze didn't last very long. Projectionists complained the movies didn't look good in well-lit rooms. Various other problems caused daylight motion pictures to become a thing of the past, ultimately changing nothing as darkened theaters returned. Isn't that nice? Isn't that a fun thing to hear about? That is really, really great. Okay, those are some interesting things I found out about recently. We also have interesting things listed here. For example, radium-infused lipstick. Back in the day when radium was quite the rage, what happened? Well, women wanted lipstick that made their lips glow in the dark. So, one of the early products that included radium was lipstick. Of course, the problem with radium-infused lipstick is what? Lip cancer. That's right. Yeah, it's radioactive. So the last product that used radium, though, in it, that persisted to be sold, was well into the early 1960s, when they still used radium to make the dials of watches glow in the dark. Isn't that interesting?
It is.
Of course, who paid the cost there? It wasn't the watch wearer, because the radium was securely contained within the watch. It was instead all of the Korean ladies who painted the watch hands on the watches. Because what they would do is they would lick their paintbrush, they'd dip it into the radium paint, and they'd paint the thing on the mia, and then they'd close the watch and be done. Then they'd get to the next one, and they'd lick their paintbrush, and they'd dip the thing at the end. Well, what did they all get? Starts with a C, ends with an answer. That's right, it was cancer.
I'm sorry for that.
No problem, baby. Just because one time one person complained and I said something about it, does not mean you need to change your behavior. You know, it's kind of a corollary to the bed thing. Okay, it's a good corollary, actually. It's like painters, Joey. Painters do. If you're trying to get your paintbrush to a tight, tippy point, that's you put it in your lips and yeah, you know.
Can I put my lips in Mia?
Of course, darling.
Aww. Can I get a kiss too? I'm a lucky gal.
So, next thing on my list of interesting things. Did you know that the worst gaming console of all time, was a gaming console called the Virtual Boy? Now, the Virtual Boy purported to be a virtual reality gaming system. But it was instead simply a gaming system that basically just sort of put the screen right in front of your face, and it was notorious for being unable to play for more than 15 or 20 minutes without getting a pounding headache. So let me look up Virtual Boy and see what the internet has to say about it, and share with everybody some more juicy information about it.
Nice SI.
Thanks. Interesting facts I found last night. The Virtual Boy is a 32-bit tabletop portable video game console developed by Nintendo. Released in 1995, it was marketed as the first console capable of displaying stereoscopic 3D graphics. The player uses the console like a head-mounted display, placing the head against the eyepiece to see a red monochrome display. The game uses a parallax effect to create the illusion of depth. Sales failed to meet targets, and Nintendo ceased distribution and game development in 1996, having released only 22 games for the system. Let's see what it says about the release.
I think this is really cool.
The console was officially announced by a press release November 14th, 1994. Nintendo promised the Virtual Boy would totally immerse players into their own private universe. Initial press releases and interviews about the system focused on its technological capabilities, avoiding discussion of the actual games that would be released. The system was demonstrated the next day at Nintendo's show. Even with cost-saving measures in place, Nintendo priced Virtual Boy at a relatively high $200 approximately, equivalent to $310 in 2019. Though slightly less expensive and significantly less powerful than a home console, this was considerably more costly than the Game Boy handheld. With seemingly more advanced graphics than the Game Boy, the Virtual Boy was not intended to replace the handheld. Let's see what the response is. I want to read about the response. Reception was overwhelmingly panned by critics and was a commercial failure. High price, discomfort caused by play. The Mario demo was not realistic enough, was not in full color, and didn't motion track the image when players turned their head. In the lead editorial of Electronic Gaming Monthly, Ed Simrad predicted the Virtual Boy would have poor launch sales due to its monochrome screen, lack of true portability, unimpressive lineup of games, and price. Though Nintendo had promised a virtual reality experience, the monochrome display limits the Virtual Boy's potential for immersion. Reviewers often consider the three-dimensional features a gimmick added to games that were essentially two or even one-dimensional. And most importantly, many reviewers complained of painful and frustrating physiological symptoms. Dizziness, nausea, and headaches. Several prominent scientists concluded the long-term side effects could be more serious. Speculated that the immersive headset could cause sickness, flashbacks, even permanent brain damage. Years after, Howard Lincoln, chairman of Nintendo of America, said flatly that the Virtual Boy just failed. So anyway, it's typically considered to be an example of one of the worst consoles ever released, and it should be noted that it was so terrible because it tried to do something it was not ready to do. You know? Alright. Also, who here knew that glasses that treat color blindness exist? I had no idea. Did you know that? It wasn't that bad, said Joey. He spent the last 6 years continually playing Virtual Boy, and eventually he got used to it. Not that bad. Alright. Glasses that treat color blindness. Yeah, I didn't think so either, but apparently. Crazy taxes. Venezuela has a breathing tax. IRS requires you to report income attained criminally, but to refer to it vaguely as other income. I always thought that was strange. Tennessee specifically has a crack tax, demanding that criminals pay their taxes, again discreetly, money they make from crack deals. I find that strange. It's like, I'm engaged in this criminal enterprise that you say I cannot do and is illegal, but you still got to pay your taxes off the profit. I mean, what? Doesn't that seem strange? Seems strange to me. Test. Your test has been passed. You can pass my test. You'll be first, I guess. You got plenty of cheese. Stick it up in me. Okay. Time for me to wrap this up. It's been whatever it's been. Everything from meow to meow. And I wish you all a very good, very wonderful, and delightful evening and holiday season. The end.